if there's anything somebody says that you're like, oh wait, I probably shouldn't say that, I can cut it out. Just let me know. Because believe me, when I watched back some of the shit we said, I trimmed a lot of shit out. I was like, maybe I shouldn't put that in there. But
You left in Dom talking about black people in Yaphet Koto.
that was funny though. But that was funny. It wasn't. It
I
wasn't.
thought for sure you were going to trim that
I'm not
out.
gonna lie, I thought you were gonna cut that one out, dude.
It was funny. I believe me. I thought about it for a second, and I went. It was his client. The dude really said it. He's just quoting somebody.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, it was fucking funny.
It was funny. Hey guys, we're episode 2, round 2 of the convention roundtable, if you will. This was a surprise to me when I put this out. This probably has to be one of my biggest, as far as the podcast goes, responses from people. So much positive response, so many people coming up to me and messaging me and saying how much they loved this episode and loved hearing what we had to say and giving them more insight into the business. Really appreciative. In fact, I've only had one negative response. One person, which you guys all know about, and he'll be watching this, I'm sure. Hey, what's happening, buddy? Yeah, one promoter didn't care for it. He wasn't happy about it, but we didn't badmouth him. He just didn't like us talking about the business. But so we're going to talk about the business some more. Anyway, everybody, we'll start with you, Fred. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are if you missed episode 1.
Yeah, Fred Hernandez, primetime appearances.
And Chiefs fan.
And big Chiefs fan, by the way. Yeah, which is funny because last time we did this, didn't the Chiefs? Has it been a year since we've done this?
It's been a year, yeah.
Yeah, last time we did this, the Chiefs had just won the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl is a football game. Dom, just heads up.
Yeah.
So, okay. But yeah, I rep guys. I rep guys like Charlie Hunnam, Ron Perlman, Kiefer Sutherland, Key Kwan, Juliette Lewis, the 9021, some of the 90210 cast, Saved by the Bell. But yeah, primetime appearances. That's my company.
Dom.
Hey, I'm Dominic Mancini. I own Full Empire Promotions, and I represent Rob Schneider and Nick Carter and George Wendt and Mike Flanagan and most of the people from his universe and the cast of ET and many others. You can go to fullempirepromotions.com to see the full list there.
Rick?
I'm not a Chiefs fan.
And not a Chiefs fan.
I'm Rick Henriques. I own Iconic Ink Management. I guess I'm probably known most, although I'd like to not be known, but I guess I'm most known for repping most of the Cobra Kai cast, Stranger Things, about half of the cast of Dexter, now this new Avatar, The Last Airbender show, and then just a whole host of clients that I first started with back in the day that I thought were in cool movies that I really liked. And to just touch real quick on what you said, Sean, I have people in foreign countries coming up to me and talking about the last podcast.
No.
Like literally people in Germany and people in the UK, and they're like, "Hey, you were on Sean Clark's podcast." I'm like, "You watched it? All 3 hours of it?" And they're like, "Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks so much for tuning us into how things really work behind the scenes." I'm with you. I literally have gotten nothing but positive feedback from that last podcast.
Have any of you had negative feedback?
No. Just the same guy.
Okay.
The same dude, the same promoter. He literally messaged me and my business partner Gilbert, which Gilbert wasn't even on the fucking podcast.
No.
So, and then, which is hilarious. But no, same with Rick, man. It was kind of hilarious because I was in Brussels when someone was like, "Hey, you were on Sean's podcast," and then in what was it, Ireland, when someone was like, "Hey, you were on," that was kind of crazy, like all international, you know what I mean? And then Horror Hound, the last Horror Hound that I went to, not this last one, the one before, that was someone said, "Yeah, I saw you on the podcast," so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's that's one thing that's crazy about YouTube is like all over the world people see this stuff, so you just never know. Yeah, I think our episode kind of opened up my channel to a different crowd too, because a lot of convention people started talking about it. And it's funny because promoters, agents, photo op people, autograph people have all commented to me, hey, that episode, blah, blah, blah. Now I actually have all the above hitting me up to be on it.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, which is shocking. But that's an interesting topic too. I mean, it's something that I think fans would be interested in hear what the photo op people go through, what the autograph dealers go through, and the promoters. Seems to me like the promoters are the ones that are less interested in being on something like this. For
Some,
yeah, no, some want to for sure.
Oh yeah.
But
I'd like to see a couple promoters on here.
Yeah, I'd like to see
could,
on it. Yeah, the ones that would butt heads.
Not even that. I just think
would.
that well, you might want to see them butt heads, but I think that they could maybe provide a wider audience just information to a wider audience of not necessarily what you go through, but just what the process is.
Yeah,
where a fan may not necessarily what goes into booking somebody at a show. Even something as simple as, somebody who cancels a show the day of, they're like, you getting a replacement?
Different perspective. Yeah, it would
be
how
hard it is to get somebody to sign on to come to an event and book flights and hotels and find out their schedule. I mean, it's near impossible. Sometimes it takes us months to get it done.
And a lot of fans can be pretty unforgiving for those last minute cancellations that, believe me, none of us want to happen.
Ain't a soul that wants that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if our clients aren't there, we don't make any money. So
I feel bad for some of the shows because you see someone. I mean, you take a mainstream show like a Fan Expo, and if one of I'm just going to use like say Norman goes and he cancels, right? Like you can't replace a Norman. Like you got to find somebody else because that's
And good luck replacing somebody of that level that quickly.
Yeah. And it's again, the promoter doesn't want Norman to cancel. You sure don't want Norman to cancel. Norman doesn't want to cancel, but you see them and they just rip the show apart.
Yeah.
What I mean? Because you hear people go, and I feel bad for the promoters because you hear people go, I'm not buying tickets until I know who's going for sure. And it's like, so you're going to buy tickets like the day before because,
And then they complain that it was sold out.
Yeah. Oh, I can't get my photo out.
Yeah. I don't know if we were planning for this topic, but it's good kind of topic to pause on for a second to just illustrate, because we do get a lot of fans that watch this. I can remember, I don't know what year it was, Rhode Island Comic-Con. I think I had maybe Billy Zabka and Mino Savari at this one Rhode Island Comic-Con. And I heard all these people whispering and talking about like these cancellations. And I was like, oh, who canceled? And somebody had told me, I think it was a showrunner, was like, the entire Walking Dead cast. And I was like, does somebody have eyes on Sean and take his shoelaces away or something? I was like, what do you mean the entire cast? And didn't they cancel them for a photo shoot?
They had to do a photo shoot, yeah.
For a photo shoot, of all things, a photo shoot. And I'm not going to talk dollars and cents, but I mean, that's a significant loss to the show, right? A massive loss to you, Sean, from a commission standpoint, a huge loss because that was right in the thick of while The Walking Dead might be the most popular thing at these conventions.
Yeah.
And then the photo op people, they got to refund thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of photo ops, and they still get hit with some of those admin charges that they still have to pay on them.
Yeah.
So it's really, really a loss for them. And, who knows how many thousands of dollars of photos that you bought and time that you put in organizing the travel. But I was like, even, Zapka doesn't react to any of that stuff. And he was like, the whole cast? Yep. Like everybody that was supposed to be here is not coming anymore?
I think there were a few that were able to do like Sunday only, right, Sean? Because I think so. Because at the time, I had Alana and Ross there. And I think Ross was able to do just Sunday for like a few hours, if I remember correctly.
Honestly can't remember who did show up. I just remember we literally found out like the day before, and they had already had that whole section upstairs reserved for them.
Yeah, because I had two people there,
and they had signs that said Norman Reedus this way.
Upstairs.
And
they
Jeffrey
hung up.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was supposed to be there too. It was supposed to be all of them. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure he was.
Didn't this happened to us in Motor City? Remember that?
Did it?
In Motor City, the same thing. They had to do a photo shoot, and they canceled the week of. I
Yeah.
remember because that's when Ryan Hurst had just joined The Walking Dead.
Mm.
And I want to say I had him and Alana, and they had to cancel because of the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I almost felt like, now this is going to be a little controversial take here, but when this was all happening that we're talking about right now, AMC was trying to muscle their way into the convention world by basically trying to take over what Walker Stalker was doing. And they wanted to do an all Walking Dead convention that was exclusive to them. So I kind of feel there was a lot of intentional double bookings. That's allegedly. I heard some rumblings that might have been intentional, but I have no proof, so don't sue me.
I remember that Rhode Island one though, because I remember them hanging all the signs saying everything was upstairs, and then you went upstairs, there was nothing there.
Yeah, it was, and believe me, having to tell Steve that news was,
And this is after he already booked everything. He already booked flights and hotels.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They lose all that money. Mm-hmm. These fans don't realize when they book these flights for these guys, they have to cancel. They eat those flights usually because the convention, the person that books the flight doesn't get that credit. Only the person whose name's on the ticket gets that credit.
Yeah. Yep. You got to hope that they come to another show that promoter runs, or they come the next year
within 12 months.
Fill the credit on that ticket. I remember, was it 2 years ago, calling Bob Stein from Ireland. I was in Ireland on vacation with Martin Cove and his son Jesse. We were in between 2 UK shows, and we're like, yeah, let's go to Ireland for 5 days. And I called Bob on the phone. I'm like, hey, Bob. And he's like, what's up? And he just started telling me all of these plans that he had for the Dexter reunion that were happening at his show. We have body parts on this cellophane. They're going to be outside the room. We have this. And I was calling him to tell him that Michael C. Hall had to cancel. And he must have talked for like 10 minutes before I could get it out. And then I was like,
so about that.
And again, I didn't want to make that call. And Michael C. Hall didn't want to cancel. I mean, I've yet to really encounter a client that cancels that wants it to happen. I mean, and I feel bad occasionally when, a promoter will get, the comments that happen on social media where they'll say, oh, he was never going to be there. I was bait and switched. And
you're trying to get tickets sold.
Yeah, I mean,
now, mind you, the bait and switch thing does happen. There are shitty shows that do that crap.
Well, there are also shitty agents that share clients with each other and don't tell each other where that other person is booked. Mm-hmm. And listen, I made that mistake where I shared a client with someone, and then finally, when I never had the other show announced, but I confirmed they would come, and then happened to realize they were going to be at another event and had to turn it back, and that's when I did away with it. I'm like, all right, I can't share anybody with anybody ever again because it's just too convoluted and too complicated. Why doesn't the actor fulfill their agreement with the show?
No, I hate that one.
Because the actor's first priority
is acting.
If you have a job at a movie theater and you plan on going to a baseball game and the movie theater all of a sudden won't give you the day off, you can't go to the baseball game. You got to tell your friends, hey, I can't come to the game. I'm sorry. I know I wanted to come. But I can't come, and that's the way it is when their actual jobs tell them that they can't have off of work. They just can't have off of work. They have to go to that other job.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Without the movies and the TV shows, there is no conventions for them. The work always has to come first.
I'm running kind of a two-part thing. I ran into that this year. Theo Rossi is literally shooting that new Penguin. I think I'm not able to say. If not, I'll let you know to delete that. But he's shooting that new Penguin show. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to do 3 internationals. You can't take off 3 days of work. Because that one, you got to take off 3 days of work. That's another thing about the internationals. People don't realize they got to take off Thursday to fly to get there Friday. There's 0 flights out Sunday night from London or anywhere to LA. So you got to take off Monday as well. And then to the other point you were saying, Sean, about promoters waiting or, not letting celebrities are going to cancel. Mm-hmm. You and I had a talk about someone that I pulled from a show.
You're good. Theo Rossi joins Penguin. You're good.
There we go. All right, cool. So yeah, which I think he promoted it, but yeah. So I had a client who was doing a horror show that canceled a long time ago. And once I send the text, hey, just heads up, so and so is pulling out. You expect it, a week maybe, not 4 months later. And a client sees that sometimes going, hey, people are saying they're excited to see me in Atlanta or something. And you go, fucking told this guy 3 months ago that you weren't going.
That happens. That happens. And a lot of times, we'll have a client that cancels, and then that client, like a week later, will be like, "Dude, I'm still on the website. What's up?"
Yeah. Right.
And it's I do understand we need to give the promoter because a lot of times they want to like, hey, this person's canceling, but we got a replacement, so they want to get somebody in line before so it's just not all negative news. I get that, but yeah, there is like, hey, you can't hold it off that long. You need to let these people know soon,
I mean, Lloyd had a cancellation, and Lloyd is for Texas Frightmare, in case anybody doesn't know. And we got Juliet Lewison. So he had bad news with good news. And sometimes they try to do that. You know what I mean? It's I get a promoter's, stance on it, but if it's 3 months out, no, you need to make that, because people start buying photo ops. And and then, which you don't want to hurt that, but you got to like send people their money back.
Might as well get into these new shows. I mean, and they're coming out of the woodwork, man. I'm sure you guys are just getting hit up left and right by these brand new shows, asking for unreal guests, guests that you would only give an established show, And it happened to me lately, or recently rather, that I got burned by one of these new shows, and in partially my fault, because I probably should have gotten the guarantees up front, but I was kind of fooled by they had been around like 4 years, but they didn't really do the guest thing. It was called Trading Card Game Convention. It was in Houston. And I checked them out, and they had multiple shows. They had done shows in Florida. They had a show coming up in Florida. They had another one booked in LA. They were asking me for people for those shows. I was feeling, okay, these guys are booking people for future shows from me. They're not going to screw me. Well, they screwed me. And they screwed Primetime too, Gilbert. So these two guys, then this is the interesting thing. Gilbert dealt with a guy named Des Timmerding, and I dealt with a guy named Dustin Griffith, and they tried to play good cop, bad cop. So because when I reached out to Des, Gilbert gave me his contact info, because they immediately started ghosting me. It was like, oh, your guarantee, the guarantees are going to be wired on Monday. One of my clients had paid for the flight himself, and they said, oh, we're going to send that as well. Oh, and dude, come Monday, has never responded to me again by phone, email, social media, completely ghosted me. And I, before I get out here and go public with it and start trashing them, I want to make sure that, I'm going to give them a chance to pay me back. You think the dude would at least string me along, at least go, hey man, working on it. Sorry about that. Or wires being sent tomorrow. Just lie to me, anything. Dude just ghosts me. And then when I contact this Des guy, he's like, oh, that was with my partner, and I don't know about that, and I don't even know who you are, and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
You don't know who you are, your clients are at your show.
Yeah. And then he says, oh, well, just send an email to our accounting department, and it'll get taken care of at whatever. It was like TCG Con Accounting at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, if this guy's making this up, he's got some balls. Of course, I sent it. It bounces back as undeliverable. It was bullshit. So anyway, I was waiting to, biding my time to see if there was any chance that this money's going to happen. But then I went online and started reading all the stuff from people that worked for the show, vendors, other people that got burned. There's a whole thing. There's a couple of YouTube videos about it from people that worked from the company that got burned. They're definitely done, even though they're still promoting a show in Tampa, and reached out to let's just say through some channels, got to the fairgrounds people in Tampa, and that's been shut down because they they had put a deposit down, but have kind of ghosted them since and have missed some deadlines. So that date's pulled. So anybody
I never
out
even
there,
heard of these guys.
yeah, Trading Card Game Con, and now their website is now down as well, like it's for sale. So I don't think we're going to be seeing them again. But if anybody out there, if anybody hears of this guy, Dustin Griffith and Des Timmerding, don't do business with them because they screwed a lot of people. Do some research. They screwed me. They screwed Primetime. And believe me, you screw us, good luck ever doing anything in the convention world again.
Wow.
That's a good topic. Dom or Rick, have y'all been screwed before?
Go ahead, Dom.
It's been a while, but yeah, there was a little show in Wyoming.
What was it called?
It was called Wyoming Comic Con, I think.
Hmm.
Or Cheyenne Comic Con. It was called Cheyenne Comic Con. I've always wanted to go to Wyoming.
That's a great town, actually. Cheyenne's a great town.
It is. I love it. That's the thing. I had fun there. Like it was I actually wanted to move there. But of course, because at Cheyenne, Wyoming, there was nobody there was no attendees. It was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And the promoter basically just told me on Sunday, I don't have the money. Sorry, I don't have the money to pay. But he didn't ghost me. He strung me along a little bit and said, we'll set up payment plans. And he paid the first payment and then just nothing.
Hey, at least he made an effort. I mean,
he did. The same thing though. His email was bounced back. His website was gone. Changed his phone number and started a trading card con.
The only other time I got burned was, this is going back to like 2009 or 10. It was that Blood on the Beach in Virginia.
Oh, God.
Virginia Beach.
What was that
guy
name?
Al
Kiesel or something like that.
He still owes me like I still have it. I keep records of everything. He owes me like $5,000. So, but again, that dude done. Never be heard from again. The one that was the biggest and most well known was the Walker Stalker debacle. But I gotta say, I gave James a chance, and even though that dude had no reason to pay me back, it had been 2 years. It had already kind of gotten to the point of it's gone and forgotten, and he, out of nowhere, got in touch with me and paid all of my clients back. So I give him full credit for being a stand-up dude and fulfilling his responsibilities like a man. Now, did he pay everybody back? I don't know. All I know is
he paid me. He paid all my clients, and he paid
me and all my clients. I doubt he paid people that basically badmouthed him, the ones, because there was a point there when things were going south, and it was like, well, we got to either just give this guy a chance or we just walk away from everything he owes us. And I was leaning on the give the guy a chance thing because Atlanta was their big show. That was the one that was the huge moneymaker. Let's let him get to Atlanta at least. And if, hopefully we can even things out. But there were some cast members that went rogue and just started trashing him online. And honestly, it ended up hurting everybody that they did that, because it definitely caused a lack of confidence in the show. Attendance was down because of it. And ultimately, those guys burned their own cast members by doing that.
Didn't the photo op company walk out on that Atlanta show like in the middle of the event, or they had to get a new one and then they left? I thought there was something.
They had to get a new one for sure, because they didn't, like, Celeb didn't work with them at the end.
But no, yeah, Froggy was the one that ended up doing it, but it wasn't during the show.
My opinion, it's hard to not bash somebody who doesn't pay you.
Well, I'm with you. I'm with you. But the reality is, as soon as you bash them, you're never getting your money.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think 3 out of my 4 guys got their money, and one of the other one got like half of their money or something like that. I didn't get my cut from that. And there's 2 international shows that owe 4 of my people money, and one of them is supposed to, I guess, with Chapter 11 or whatever. One of them is supposed to be doing that. They had a show just like a week or 2 ago. Yeah, we've all been to that show. All of us.
I don't think I've been. If it's the one you're talking about, Does that have something in any
It's rhymes with smells.
dolphins,
There you go. Yeah,
fish?
that one.
Okay.
Yeah, they owe three of my people, which they've made public, by the way. So I'm not sure. They owe three of my people at least.
Oh, so is there a reason we're protecting them, or should we say who it is?
No, I'm just kind of
Okay, let's go.
Because I don't. It's
you're hoping you get the rest.
Yeah, because like we said, I hope we get that money back. But he owes three of my people about $30,000 a piece.
Yeah, well, I've never been to that show.
Yeah, it used to be a good show. Me and Dom.
That's what I heard.
I mean, yeah, it used to be a really good show. Like I used to actually like that show and like the promoter. I had no ill will against him. Like never have. I think Rick, you went to that show a couple times, right?
One time,
just once.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything. I mean, there was one time where this is actually I know where it went sideways. We had a client there, and it took about 6 weeks to get our wire. And I had another agent come in, ask me, hey, how was the show? The show's good. Took 6 weeks to get my wire, though. That dude took it as I was bashing his show. It's like, no, because that's what we all do together. We all, we have a group text that says, hey, how's this show? What did you guys get this? Did you guys get that? The guy took 6 weeks to pay me. I told this other agent how long it took. The promoter took it as I was bashing him. Like, no, man, it took 6 weeks to get our fucking wire.
Yeah.
I'm not lying about anything here.
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult doing these overseas. I mean, people don't realize how much more work goes into doing them overseas.
It's almost not worth it. I mean, it depends, I mean, it depends on the client, I mean, I have guys here that, they're making double in the States than they make overseas. So, it's hard to justify going through all that hassle and the flights and the, customs and and hoping the wires come through and all this crap for less money,
Yeah.
But then you have some that do better overseas. You just never know.
On a vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I had, there was a silly dispute over 1,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go, this isn't fucking worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it's 1,000 euros, it doesn't matter. You just go like, it's just sometimes not worth it. And some of the clients want to do it. Some of them, we've all had the client go, hey, get me something international.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, Mexico for all I give a shit. But, sometimes it's just a risk. And I've learned with my guys, like if I need to take a guarantee up front, so be it. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather risk having to send the money back and someone canceling than going over there and getting screwed.
And to be honest with you, all you new promoters out there who are looking to get into this, or when we ask for these guarantees up front, now you know why, because we've been burned, and I'm tired of taking chances. I mean, if you're a brand new show and I know nothing about you, I mean, don't be offended. It's like you got to start somewhere, because the thing is, what a lot of people, these promoters, don't think about is, if you make a guarantee to a guest, let's say you have a guest and you're saying, I'm going to give you a $10,000 guarantee. You as a promoter better have that $10,000 already in your budget set aside for that, just in case.
Yep.
Because if you're doing that based on, I think I'm going to sell X amount of tickets, you're just looking to bankrupt yourself, because nothing's a sure thing. None of these shows are a sure thing. Oh, I saw Matthew Lillard at the show. He had a crazy line, so he's obviously going to pack a place. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, So, plus you need to advertise. That's another thing. These fucking Facebook and Instagram isn't advertising. That's a small portion. You need to really advertise, especially locally.
Yeah, I've never been burned at a show. I'm also cautious to the nth degree. If I get a brand new show that contacts me, I'm rarely ever rude to them. But I will tell them up front when they contact, I'm like, hey, there's absolutely 100% going to be people I'm not going to bring for any amount that you offer me. And the reason why is because they're used to making XYZ. I know that they're not going to make XYZ at your show because you're brand new and you're talking about getting 1,000 people through the turnstile.
Yeah.
So I know they're not going to make it at your show. And I know if I ask you for a guarantee that is equal to what they normally make, and when they don't make it, you're not going to pay me. So I'd rather just stay home and not get paid than go to your show and not get paid.
Well, it's also like you said, we risk losing a client for that.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Or they want me to be responsible for it. And I'm not, giving somebody X amount of dollars just because a promoter won't. I almost got burned at one show. I don't know if you guys remember this event, but a really long time ago in Chicago, there was a show called Rewind Con.
Yeah.
And it was run it was run by a girl that I guess used to work at Walker Stalker or something at one point.
Yeah.
And she had sent me all of these agreements with outrageous amounts attached to them for actors that would in everyday conventions would never come close to these numbers. And I was like, yeah, I'm 1,000% not bringing any of these people. She offered me $200,000 to bring Bill Paxton to the show. And I'm just like, this makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand. And I had a whole bunch of people that she asked for, and I told them all about it. And I said that it's in our best interest to turn her down. Well, I had 2 actors that said, "Oh, we don't care. We're going to take the money because our other people are going." There were Melrose Place people there. There were
90210. It was a huge 90210 reunion.
Yeah,
they actually had a really good lineup.
Yeah. Hell, Cole Hauser was there. I'd love to book Cole Hauser at a show right now.
Yeah.
Somebody give me Cole Hauser so I can book him at a show from being on Yellowstone as Rip. Everybody on the planet would be there. But Cole was there with his wife and his sister and all this other stuff. And I wasn't there. I was at Rhode Island Comic-Con. And my girl Lisa called me from the show and she's like, yeah, we've made $310 out of 5,000. We're going to get burnt. And I was like, well, what makes you say that? And she's like, well, he just says that he doesn't have the money to pay. I'm like, well, tell him to call me. So the accountant calls me from his phone. And he's
That's
like,
that old dude, right? His name was
like an old white-haired guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what his name was. Like he had a weird name. But I saw Cole Hauser almost choke that guy to death.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Dude, Cole Hauser is intense. He's like his characters, dude. He went off on that dude.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I've heard stories. But so Lisa, so he's talking to me and he's basically telling me, hey, we so-and-so Jamie, her name was Jamie. Jamie ran out on the show. So-and-so ran out on the show. There's no money, blah, blah, blah. I was like, God damn it. Give the phone to Lisa and let me talk to her a second.
Olaf.
Oh, Olaf. Yes. Olaf.
I knew it was an O name, and I have his number on my phone still.
Olaf.
Hey, in Olaf's defense, that guy, he came through for me, and he was a victim of this Jamie chick, for sure.
If the newer promoters are listening out there, I think that we all have been with shows that have started from scratch. Sean, you and I were at Rhode Island Comic-Con when it was just basically me, you, John L. Cantor, and Fred Westcott, the Batman guy. That was it. We started that show. I had 9 clients there. You had a couple dozen or something, which is typical even for you now, you bastard. But we took a chance. And now look at Steve Perry. He's got 5 or 6 shows. Rhode Island Comic-Con is a huge event. So I will engage in a new show. But don't tell me that you got 500 people through the turnstile and you want Finn Wolfhard and Gaten Matarazzo.
Well, I tell these people, I go, look,
it's not happening.
I go, when they come at me, first time show, interested in Nev Campbell, Matthew Lillard, whatever, I go, look, you need to be realistic. And, I've never worked with you before. We got to build a relationship. Let's start, let me put some of my lower level people in your show, see how it does. If I think it has the potential, I definitely open up, to possibly bringing a headliner in eventually. But you just can't, you can't expect, right
Well,
out the gate that we're good, because we have to protect our clients, you know? I mean, because if they go and they have a shitty time and they make no money, guess what? They won't be working with us anymore. So,
We'll look at Spookala, right? So Spookala is a great example of a show in Florida. It's in its third year now.
mhm.
And when DJ contacted me, I was like, yeah, listen, here's a list of people that we can work through that I think will come to your show on an average to better than average guarantee and make it. And as long as you put the people through the door, they'll make it because they make it every time. You won't get hurt. Client won't get hurt. I won't get hurt. And all of a sudden you're building. And you know what? He listened. And he's like, that, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. Thanks for working with me in the first place. You didn't have to if you didn't want to. There's lots of shows here in Florida. We started out, we put some folks there. Then the next show, we put some better, higher caliber folks there. And you guys all put some higher caliber people. And then this last one, I only had one person at this last one, but people were like, yo, this show's no joke now. I mean, it's growing and it's gotten to a point where hopefully he can maintain and, which I think he could, he doesn't go into that dip, but hopefully he can maintain and just either keep the same strength or get even stronger. But now you've built a relationship of trust with all of us. And we're more apt to say, okay, Spookala, now we're going to bring people of another caliber down there because we know that he's a good guy, he's running a good show, and it's equitable for everybody. That collaboration that that you do with each other has to be there. It can't just be they get what they want. He did it the right way.
And he's smart in the sense that he listened to the criticisms and he improved them.
Yeah,
you criticized him heavily about his transpo. His transpo was on point this time.
Yeah, no, I heard, but Britt told me that it was zero issues with transportation. Yeah. Literally,
the green room was on point this time. The hotel was a huge step up from the last one.
That's reminds me of the guy that runs. Sorry, his name's slipping my mind. Creepy IE.
Oh, Nick.
No. First, same thing. He booked. I put Hunnam and Perlman there, but the show before, he had Rose McGowan and somebody, and not knocking Nick, because I actually like Nick a lot. I haven't met him yet though. Haven't been to a show yet, and my assistant Melody went and was like, "Yo, the hotel's not nice. Transport's messed up." And I took a phone call with Nick. Nick listened. Next show, it was great.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I will always book with Nick. He listens, like promoters, and I get it because we've talked about this in the last one. Is some promoters the egos are really big, and to me in life, and this is a little deep, but the day you stop learning, is the day you stop growing. You gotta listen to people, no matter what. Even us, we learn shit every day. You know what I mean? We learn shit every day, but you tell promoters hey man, trust me, you want to keep us happy. This is how you do it, man. You take care of us. And we're not telling you, we have to stay in 5-star hotels and we need this and we need this. No, man, just really good basics.
Yeah, we're not asking you to kiss our asses. We're just asking you to do a good job. You want the best from us. We want the best from you. Let's all work together and make each other money. Let's put on a good show for the fans. Let's make everybody money. Let's all leave happy,
Yeah, I gave a promoter in the UK an idea of having a screening on Friday night. Yo, why don't you try it for a horror show? I was like, why don't you try doing a screening on Friday night? Make some extra cash. Sold out first night. Now what are they doing? They're doing a screening every Friday. I won't get credit for it. I'm the one that brought it up. I don't need the credit, but it's like you listened. You took the idea, and it's not. There are some agents, especially the companies, the WMEs, that this is what it is. That's it. You don't get it.
Yeah.
We don't play that stuff because we have
started on that.
Yeah, we have to continuously work with these guys.
That's another topic though, right? Like the way that the promoters stack the guest lists, and most of them are too top heavy now.
Well,
there's a lot of promoters that overbook. That's a thing lately. It's
they book these headliners. It's like you already have 20 headliners.
Well, they just book too many guests. Period. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love some of these guys, they're guys that we like and they're killer shows. Rhode Island, Steve Perry, Bob Stein, Steel City. Too many guests. There's too many guests. You don't need
MegaCon
Salt Lake
this
City.
year.
Damn far. Same. Too many guests.
MegaCon this year might have been the biggest lineup I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like Salt Lake City last year was pretty goddamn big.
Yeah.
I mean, that was when you're standing at one end of the convention floor and the banner for the very last guest basically looks like a postage stamp in your eyes. Yeah, I mean, and then there was still another side of that L'd out and went like where over that corner where Charlie was signing with neon orange. There are people all over there too. I mean, there was a lot. Was that the name of the company? Neon orange?
Neon Mango. Neon Mango.
Wrong fruit. Sorry, I got the wrong fruit.
Yeah, Neon Mango. But yeah, like Salt Lake and you were at MegaCon, weren't you, Rick, this year?
Yeah.
I mean, he had everybody.
See, I didn't think MegaCon that there were too many guests.
You don't think so?
At MegaCon. No, I didn't
have everybody. The cast of ET weren't there.
Yeah. that's true.
I mean, you had Hiddleston who had his home. I mean, he had Hiddleston. He had, what's Obi-Wan Kenobi's name?
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
McGregor. He had Hayden Christensen, Ki Kwan. He had Susan Sarandon. The other one, forgot her name. Sorry. The entire cast of Entourage.
How do fans afford it? Like these big Comic Cons, you kind of need like a nostalgic corner where the autographs are affordable and the people are all 3 days and they're dependable and they're not going to cancel. Like you kind of need that.
And promoters see that too because they go, I wonder why these giant guys won't do 3 days. It's because they can't do 3 days.
Right.
You need people at shows that are affordable autographs for fans to spend the money and also have a good interaction with the person. Everybody can't be $80, $120 on a pop, $140 on a poster. I mean, I'm not going to listen, I consider myself to be very tight with my fellow agent brethren, but I was really annoyed at Monster-Mania when there were some guests that were charging $5 for the 8x10 off the table.
I thought it was 10. Was it 5?
It
was 10.
Was it 10? Yeah, okay, $10. $10 for the 8x10 off the table. Now listen, I'm going to stand on a soapbox for a second and say that I make enough money at a show that I don't need to gouge the people that are facilitating that. Heck, if somebody came up to the table, and most people don't, but if they came up to the table and they asked for one, I might even give them one for free, as long as it didn't get out of control.
I won't.
Because it's not, well, no, I mean,
hey, people come up all the time and they say, I don't want an autograph, but can I buy a picture? I'll sell them a picture.
I'm with Sean on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
$5. I go $5.
So I just think if you're charging $100 for an autograph,
give them the picture. Fuck yeah.
The picture got to be included in that. It just has to be. And I had people come up to me at Monster-Mania and they're like, they would look at my stuff and they're like, okay, well, I'm getting an autograph. And they're like, well, and I'll be like, $40. How much are the photos? No, you just paid for an autograph. You get a photo for free. And they were shocked that I would give it to them. And, this is an industry where trends happen, easily. And that ain't, I'll tell you what, that ain't a trend I ain't gonna ever buy into. I'm not $5 or $10 for an 8x10 at the table. And at one time, there was a couple of clients who insisted to get paid more money when charging a Funko Pop. And I cringed having to tell them, but I'm not doing that either. Signature's a signature. Whatever it's on, it's on. Now, during private signings, that's a completely different animal because that's all for resale.
Yeah.
Private signings, when someone comes up, for the fans out there that don't know, when we set up a private signing and someone comes and buys 500 items, that's not for them. they're not buying 500. Well, maybe some of them are, but they're not buying 500 items. I might have 500 signed Conan items, but they're not, it's not for their house. They're reselling them to someone else. And on a pop, they charge more. On an 11x14, they charge more. On a poster, they charge more. That's a different animal. These are just the fans that are coming to the table. I just ain't doing it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm just not doing it where I'm charging a differential for depending on what sign at the table.
I agree. Signatures are signatures. The same amount of ink. Takes the same amount of time for them to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I only have one client that have different pricing for, and that's Ozzy Osbourne. And there's certain cases like him where, yeah, a rock legend like that, to sign a guitar, you have to charge a premium because they turn around and sell them on eBay for $5,000. You know, I mean, you have there are things like that.
If people think it's weird with that, go look at all the sports memorabilia shit that costs.
Dude,
Like, yeah,
I was in that industry. That's,
yeah.
you know, there's a different autograph price for everything.
Yeah,
and
that
it's
trophy,
all
that
crazy.
trophy's different than that helmet. You know what I mean? Like, that's
jersey, football,
All different prices.
all different prices for every single thing.
And in
and
fact,
it's all high.
if you get
Yeah,
a
trust me,
Miami
I know,
Dolphins
right?
jersey, it's actually less money to sign a Miami Dolphins jersey because it's actually worthless after that.
Fuck off. Looking at my Merino signed helmet right now. Right there. One thing I've been it used to happen a lot, but seems to be coming around again lately, is these third-party broker agencies that literally list everybody on the planet on their websites, and you know all they're doing is fishing for offers. You know,
Yep.
I'm getting so sick of these guys. Like, oh, you know, so this company I've never heard of before offered me your client. Blah, blah. I said, you know how this works. That person doesn't work with my client. They don't know my client. They're going to get you to give them a big money offer, and they're going to go to like WME and try to get them through there. That, I mean, which then now involves another entity you don't want to deal with. You know, these third-party brokers are just an annoyance, and they don't really work with any of these people on their websites. It's so frustrating. I don't know. Have you guys had any run-ins with any of them lately, or people telling you that your clients are on their website? This one in particular that just kind of popped up recently, I saw some of your people on there too. You know,
I haven't encountered them for a while.
no.
I can't remember if it was Rick or you, Sean. One of you guys texted me and said, I forgot who the fuck it was. One of you guys texted me and said somebody had a couple of my people on there. And I remember I emailed the promoter and said, like, you know, damn well those dude doesn't rep. But I didn't even know who the fuck this guy was. Like, this was, like you said, third-party company. But I've noticed the ones who actually book with them, I don't see it a lot in the States. I see it more internationally.
Yeah.
I don't see it a lot in the States. I see it a lot internationally because you show up and you're like, this dude's with this guy? Like, who the fuck is this dude? This isn't his agent.
Yeah. And what they also need to understand, you, the promoters, need to understand is you're going to pay a plus 10% to work with that third party. You're not saving money. I mean,
money.
Literally, if you want to get one of these big, I mean, and I saw some names on this list. I was just rolling my eyes. Bill Skarsgård was on their list.
Yeah.
First off, you're not getting him probably for any amount of money. But, you know, I mean, you'd have just as much luck calling whoever he's rep by, CAA or WME, whatever. You'd have just as much luck giving them a big money offer than having to pay a plus 10 through this guy, you know, who doesn't even know the person, you know.
You know, a part of that that Dolphin Con that we were talking about, he worked with that guy.
Yeah.
And he told me, he goes, I was getting, you know, so and so for 30,000 plus 10. I'm like, why would you play it? You're giving this guy $3,000, $2,000, $3,000. You're adding all these things up. Like, you gave him 20 grand to send a fucking offer out?
To literally forward an email.
Literally to forward a fucking email. And
Yeah.
I just saw it with the international guys. They do it. And it's like, you know, we fucking work with these guys.
But here's the thing. Are they getting them?
I mean,
sometimes
at that con, it was there.
I think we all know the reason a guy like Dolphin Boy works with that dude is because they don't have to fly us from the States, which costs more money.
Yeah, right.
So they're trying to save money there. So those third-party bookers sometimes have some success overseas.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing some overseas guys, third-party bookers from overseas, trying to book in the States now. Now that don't make sense at all. Are they coming? are they going to show up? That ain't cheap to bring them from there to here, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I haven't seen, I saw more of it pre-COVID than I do now here in the United States. It's still very prevalent over in the UK and in Europe, especially. Um, you know, I look at it this way. I don't get too bound up about it, especially when I see, when I see the names they're talking about. Like if this was years ago, but somebody in Europe, I think it was Heroes, they were offering him Billy Zabka. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, try and book him. and,
yeah.
they're like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I kind of want to see what happens. I was like, who are they getting him through? Because I guarantee you they either call me or they're going to try and call his manager, and his manager is going to say, yeah, I don't have anything to do with that. That's Rick that does all that stuff for him for the past 15 years. So I look at it this way, to a promoter that says, hey, I'll just go through this other guy to book him. Yeah, good luck. It's not going to happen. Maybe they would get someone that I work with that's not like that, where, I mean, I dare say that I won't dare say, I'll definitely say, I mean, I'm friends with Billy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk to each other about non-Comic Con related shit. I go out to Nashville and LA and sometimes and visit him and stuff. So, we go places together. It's a different relationship than if you're talking about somebody that, it's, book me for a show, don't call me unless there's anything else but a booking for a show. So I say to those guys, it was a really funny story, Sean. Someone had sent me a list of this company. Again, this is pre-COVID. Somebody had sent me a list, and the list was huge. It had all of our people on it. I mean, it was
I remember seeing
18
that.
pages of celebrities. And it was listed. It still makes me laugh to this day. It makes me chuckle to myself. It was listed by movie, right? So it's like, these are the Lord of the Rings people I have. These are the Harry Potter people I have. And under the Lord of the Rings, it had an actor on there that played a certain role, and they had him listed for $80,000. And then in another section, under another grouping of movies, you had the same actor that was listed for another franchise for $60,000. I was like, oh shit, if I was doing the booking, I want that actor from the other franchise. He's $1,000 less, right? If I bring him in from the other movie that he was in, then I could get him for 20 grand cheaper. It's just like this weird, irresponsible stuff. They call up somebody like Gersh or WME or UTA, and they're like, hey, can I bring you an offer? And if those places are like, oh shit, well, we don't do any work here anyway. Yeah, of course you can bring us an offer. And then they list everybody that's on their IMDb as their client.
Yep.
Everyone. They just run down the list, and now they represent all of them. Heck, I know some agents right now that are not third-party people that do that shit right now. And if you go look at their website, you're like, you don't rep any of these people. Bring them an offer.
Yeah.
I bet you don't bring them to a show.
So I'm probably gonna get a little shit for this, but and I'm gonna say I really like this person a great deal. I consider her a friend. I think she's sweet, but I just gotta say, man, that sleepaway camp photo op that Felissa Rose did recently, the costume op thing. Have you guys all seen it? With the dick? I mean, she's literally wearing a bodysuit with a fucking dildo hanging off of it with the biggest bush I've ever seen. Like this bush that's like this big. That, I mean, it's
What's
like.
it for?
Because her character at the end of the movie is revealed to actually be a man, and it's like there's a reveal of like, and so what they did is in the film they did a cast of her face, and so they had a guy standing there naked wearing her head, going, that's why she always does that face, because that's it's a static pose. Anyway, they were doing that as a costume op, and I mean, we have sunk to a new low. I mean, it's just like, I'm just like looking at this going, really? I mean, that is like, it's embarrassing. I mean, I like her as a person, like I said, and I just feel like, you know, families come to these things, man. You know, this is like it's a fucking naked cock, you know, hanging off a bodysuit. I mean, it's like it's just really. I was embarrassed for the business as a whole.
For the show and everything for everybody.
Well, I mean,
well, that's the type of stuff people will see and go, like a new client. Imagine if you had a brand new client.
Yeah.
And they were photo op was after that. And they walked in.
Oh my God.
Imagine that. Imagine if I took Juliette Lewis to her first show and she walks in and fucking sees that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing that if I had I don't work with this particular show. You guys know who it is. I won't work with that promoter. But if I was an agent there with one of my clients and I saw that, I would be livid.
How did it sell? I guess my question, like, because I've never seen Sleep. I mean, you guys are, well, maybe not Fred, but you and Dom are like the horror movie people. I mean, you guys.
I wasn't there.
You probably saw more horror movies yesterday than I've seen in my life. When I was a kid, my idea of a horror movie was The Elephant Man. I still cannot watch that shit and not relive the nightmares from it.
No, I wasn't there either.
No.
But they still owe me money for using them. I'm old.
In The Elephant Man?
No.
But so it's from Sleepaway Camp, the movie.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I would drop in a picture here to show, but I don't want my video demonetized for porn.
But I mean, if she's wearing a nude thing, I mean that
she was basically wearing a flesh-colored bodysuit with a fake cock strapped to the front of it with a bush, you know, and covered in blood.
My question would be this: I mean, you know, I don't know. You selling 10,000 of these things, and that's why you're doing it, or just sell 2, and it was just funny. It's for like shock value or something.
I doubt many of them sold.
I mean,
I gotta say, I wouldn't want to walk in on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I would be offended, because I could personally care less, but I wouldn't want to walk in there with a client with it who would be like,
yeah,
I don't want to see that shit.
I just feel like I get it. Everybody was like, oh, it's funny. But at the same time, it's more kind of pathetic than funny. And I'm not trying to, and again, I like Felissa, and she'd probably watch this and be like,
wait, was she in the costume?
Yes.
Yeah,
oh, shit. I'm missing this whole thing. She was actually posed in the costume that had that. I thought it was just like the fan came in and stood in front of her. Like they were in the costume.
Okay, I'm hold on.
I agree with Sean. I love Felissa too, but it's like,
oh no,
you know, had desperate. I mean, it just looks trashy and desperate. And if I
didn't realize that the actor wore the costume.
Yeah.
Okay, check your text messages coming through.
That'd be like getting Mark Wahlberg to a show and like, hey man, we're doing this Boogie Nights photo op.
Yeah.
That's definitely dumb.
I mean, I mean, here's the thing. I remember back in the day when people would say, "Oh yeah, I want to book the Michael Myers guy. You know, he'll wear the costume, right?" I'm like, no, he's not going to wear the costume. And I used to think to myself, I would never in a million years ask an actor to dress up in the costume. How degrading! Yeah. But then it started to become a thing.
Yeah, and
then clients started saying, hey, you know, I hear he's making a lot of money doing that, you know, and some of them do, you know, the Jasons, the, you know, whatever, certain ones work, right?
Yeah. That's a good question. Who dresses up? Like the Super Trooper guys wear their Super Trooper.
You looking at that, Rick? What do you think?
Yeah. I can't even believe it.
That happened.
I don't even understand why people buy the Jason costume ops, because it could be anybody.
It could be, but there is something kind of cool about it. If it's the real guy and if they still look good in it and they have a good costume. I mean, there's been some pretty cool costume ops. I have to give credit. There's been some pretty cool ones.
There's been
some incredibly cringy ones where the guys are way out of shape and shouldn't be in those fucking costumes.
Fucking Jason's all fat and shit.
A Freddy Krueger one in costume and makeup is kind of cool.
He's done that one. Well, yeah. Now, the crazy thing about that, he'll do the glove, he'll do the makeup, but he won't wear the sweater. It's so bizarre.
He puts on a weird T-shirt all the time that's like the show T-shirt.
It's wearing a Chief shirt and shit.
That's the only thing he'll do for whatever. Don't know why.
$300 and up, if I remember.
That one would be pretty cool as a costume photo op.
And they actually bring in the real effects artist to put on the prosthetics. It's not him putting on a mask.
Yes.
He sits there for like 3 hours and they do it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'd like to do like if all the Thing guys got together and you had the big spider head.
We did.
I mean, that would be kind of a cool like.
We did it.
op.
Oh shit!
Yeah, well, we did it at Horror Hound.
Oh, you did?
I'll post a picture of it here. Yeah, they had the spider head, they had the dog, and they built the guy did a set that looked kind of like the cages. Yeah.
Hey, you could take that spider head now and put it on Julian's auctions and say it's real, and someone will buy it for $600,000 too.
No, I think it's prop store, but yeah.
Was it prop store?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Wilford Brimley walk in and see that photo op.
Oh my God. Yeah, unfortunately we did that after Wilford had passed. But yeah, there's some cool photo ops. I mean, some of them look good, you know. I mean,
I think the props look cool. Like the back.
Yeah, like spooky.
They look cool.
Not spooky. Spookala. Who was it? Spookala or Horror Hound?
Well, Horror Hound kind of started doing it first.
They built the Scream house. Who did that?
Well, that was built for Horror Hound, but they've used it at other shows since.
Yeah.
The guy's name's Mike Nelson, and he did the Scream house.
I think that's cool, man.
He did the Killer Clown set. He did's Killer, and he's got the clown costumes look great. You know, some of those are fun. Some of them are bad. I've seen some bad ones. I've seen some, I've seen some real bad ones, you know.
There was one at Monopoly events, and at first I don't know. I'm not sure, Dom, you'll have to correct me whether they were going to do it or didn't want to do it. But Monopoly events set up the whole damn ET forest one time where they were on bikes and everything. And I was like, that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of cool. But I thought at first they didn't want to do it in the forest. And they're like, because they had to sit on the bikes and shit.
Yeah, they did
the Lost Boys Cave. Yeah.
The Lost Boys Cave. At first I had I'm not gonna lie, I forgot to tell Kiefer about it. But he had to sit in the chair, so it fucking worked. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to tell you about this. Like literally, like, because this is when he did his 3-hour appearance because he was in town. And I think Andy told me, oh, we're building a set. For fucking back in my head, I was thinking, they're gonna build a Young Gun set. You know, And I was like,
you know, the thing is like, as a fan, if you're buying a photo op with a group of from your favorite film, would you rather have a cool replica set or standing in front of a step and repeat that says the name of the convention 30 times? You know,
yeah. I mean, probably some of the best ones I've seen are at Monopoly. Monopoly did a Cobra Kai dojo one that was kick ass, and I felt bad because we went to Scotland one time and it was during the strike. I was like, we can't do it. And we had to put like blankets up on all the Cobra Kai stuff because I'm like, they did their signing sitting in the dojo. They had a whole dojo, and our signing was in it.
Horror Hound did a good one, Sean. I can't remember what it was.
Monopoly Events once did the couch that was in Stranger Things for Gaten and Caleb, and it was kind of badass. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cool. You know, and the problem with some of the backdrops that have the logos all over them is if fans need to do something from a Photoshop standpoint because they don't like something, it's almost impossible. You have to delete the background on it to you know, replicate or move people closer or take somebody out because you have the logos everywhere. I mean, I get why they do it, but
that's a good topic, talking about
free advertising.
No, talking about space and photo ops.
That's actually on my list.
Fuck. Oh, see, look at that segue.
Distancing in photo ops.
Look at that segue. I've been in.
Yeah, there was some major news a few weeks back about at 90s Con, the Gina Davis, Susan Sarandon, the box incident.
Jesus Christ. You do got to post that one.
What was wrong with those boxes? Come on, man. That was a good
I think what was wrong with those boxes is it was obscuring the celebrities from the fans who paid for the photo ops. Hey, Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon are on the other side of this, right? Okay, all right. But, you know, my thing is like, dude, if you're going to do these things, if you're going to do a convention and meet fans and take photos, if you have issues like that where you don't want to be near someone, don't come. Don't come. Yeah. Don't do it. You know, I mean, the whole thing, plexiglass and all that shit. I mean, I got it during COVID, whatever. Okay, that shit's over. If you're still wanting plexiglass, stay home. You know?
I do understand to a degree the not wanting to be touched, right?
Yeah, that's
And
I give you that.
can do a totally good photo op just standing next to somebody in an appropriate way. If someone doesn't want their arm around you, or if someone doesn't want to be touched, or I mean, shit, you've seen it all. I've had people come in like, "Can you jump up on my back, or can I jump up on yours?" No,
can you hold my baby?
Can I hold you like a bride? No, you can't hold her like a bride.
Yeah, can we do a prom pose?
Yeah, prom poses and all this other stuff.
I mean, not everybody's gonna be friggin' Matthew Lillard and want to like hug everyone and put them in a bear hug, and you know, I mean, some people want are germaphobes. Some people want personal space. You know what? And you know, but again, standing next to them without touching is fine. But if you need to be like 10 feet apart or some shit, have a barrier, stay home.
Just come and sign autographs and say that's all you're going to do.
Yeah.
You can come and sign autographs and not do photo ops of any kind. You can, you know, a promoter has to look at that and say, okay, well, you're not going to do selfies. You're not going to do photo ops. Now you've eliminated 2/3 of your revenue generating.
And you got to pay guarantee.
Make an appropriate offer to you. But, you know, because photo ops are a big deal now. You know, they're getting more expensive, it seems like, but
I heard they had to refund a ton because of that, right?
Boy, who would want that? Nobody wants all those boxes in between you. It was just silly. You couldn't even literally, you're right though. Like people think you may be being sarcastic, but you literally couldn't see to the other side of the boxes. Now, and to their credit, this past weekend at Steel City Con, none of that happened.
Yeah.
You were able to stand right next to those two, you know, but again, there wasn't any, like you weren't, you know, holding them or putting your arms around them, but it obviously
looked better. It looked better.
The boxes. Dom, weren't you at that 90s con?
I was there. Yeah, that was a fiasco. But they tried to correct it. I mean, they offered reshoots the next day.
They made the boxes smaller?
No.
They took one of the boxes off so you could see their head. Okay, there they are.
No, they thought outside the box. You know, and they offered reshoots, but there was still space between them. They just said they'll boxes, but there's still going to be a gap.
Yeah, I'll give Bob Stein props because he posted about it 3 or 4 times because, you know, it's like Sean says, some people are very huggable and they like it. Some people are like, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. You know, I mean, Hunnam hugs everybody.
And Zeus with a strap on.
Yeah, some people will wear a strap on. You know.
Well, in defense of 90s Con, it was their first show, and a lot of times when you're dealing with a first-time client who's never done a convention before, you things get thrown at you as a promoter, and you have to deal. Huh?
Wasn't their first?
That wasn't their first show.
Wasn't that Gina's first show?
No,
because she was at MegaCon.
Yeah, she did MegaCon.
Okay, never mind. It's all their fault.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you're right.
Apparently, they didn't know. Apparently, that wasn't in the contract.
No, well, wait. At MegaCon, they had a table and a flower in between them.
Did they really?
Yes,
yeah, they did.
Yeah, so Gina Davis stayed sitting down. There was a table and a flower. So here's the thing, though, right? Just like anything else, I think, and we know their agent, right? We know who reps both Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis. I'm going to give him a compliment, so I don't mind mentioning his name, but it's Lance. He had to correct that with them. He had to say, hey, listen, we can't do this if you do it like this. This is bad reputational wise. This is bad sales wise. This is bad money wise. This is bad trying to get guarantee wise. We got to correct this.
Yeah.
And it takes, anytime somebody, and even an actor, is into something new, it takes them a second to figure out what's going to be, how they're going to do things. You know what I mean? And what they're most comfortable with. And maybe, you know, they made that adjustment afterwards, Susan and Gina. They said, okay, yeah, we push this to the brink of where it shouldn't have been, as long as, you know, we don't want to be all on top of everybody, then it'll be better. And that's what they did at Steel City Con. And I didn't hear a single person complain about the photo ops in Steel City Con.
When a show has a first-time celeb, the pressure is on them to go, I don't want to be the reason they don't want to do shows again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I got Juliette Lewis, she wanted to do Fan Expo New Orleans. And I was like, you sure you want to do this one? She's like, my family's there. Like, fuck, we do it. She was nervous, like literally shaking before she hit the floor. And it's hilarious. You know who talked to her was Bernthal. Talked to her and was like, yo, this is how it is. It's chill. You know, we can explain it. When one of their colleagues goes, no, that's how you do it. You have fun with it and this and that. Fuck, dude. She was in Steel City 2 shows later, man. She's dancing with the fucking fans and having a great time and things like that. Because, you know, as a show and with us, we have to show them that it's lucrative, it's easy, it's fun. Because we've all had a client say this after their first show. They go, oh shit, that's it? Like, that's all I got to do? You're like, yeah, what'd you think you had to do? It's because their managers pounded into them that they're doing some crazy shit. And it's like, no, you're meeting your fans.
Well, they've demonized this industry for so long, you know, the agencies, the big agencies. Now they're trying to get a piece of it. But before it was like, you're a has-been. If you go to those, you're a loser, you know.
You're a carny.
And and you're going to be like you're going to look like, you feel like a goldfish in a bowl. People are going to be staring at you all weekend. And, you know, it's like, you know.
She was amazing, Juliette Lewis, by the way, Fred. I talked to her in the green room for a little while about her dad and just some of the things that I thought were cool that her dad did. And I was like, man, your dad was on, what's his IMDb? He's got to have like 8,000 credits. This guy was on every TV show. He'd show up in every movie. You're like, oh shit, there's Jeffrey Lewis again. Right? like every single thing you could imagine. And she was just really, 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 really nice and really cool to all the fans as well.
Dude, she's a
super cool guy. Have you ever meet him?
I never met Jeffrey Lewis.
I met him.
Really cool. You met him too?
Yeah. Oh, in fact, I have
small signature.
I did it. Yeah, I did. I did a sit down on camera interview with him. I think I have a bunch of archived old interviews I did back in the day. I'm going to put them on the channel here at some point. His is one of them. I did a cool interview with him. He was awesome.
He's like one of the only non-main, well, not non-main, like besides Rob Zombie and Sherry, I'm missing him from my Devil's Rejects poster that I have signed because he had passed away before I started having it signed.
I think
you have him on yours?
I think I do.
You like that movie, Rick? You don't see me as a Devil's. I don't see you as a Devil's Rejects fan.
I loved House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Wow. Oh, it's upstairs. I'm looking for my Devil's Rejects.
Mine's actually on the wall in the garage.
Really?
Hold on.
Mine's in my upstairs.
I'm the only one that hates that movie.
I'm gonna go look to see if his signature's on it. I'm curious.
Everybody's thinking of
Adam signed Salem's Lot.
Right.
But she was really cool. Like I met her Juliet for the first time.
Yeah.
She was.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a good one.
I got tons of signatures on this thing.
Nice.
I got Valkenburg on here, Bill, I got Sid, I got Danny Trejo, Berryman, Ken Forey, PJ. I got tons of people on there.
Nice.
Is Steve Rails back?
No, I don't have Steve Rails back on this.
There you go. You need one of my clients on there.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll have to. I had William Forsythe on here. He wrote, "I hate fucking clowns." I'm gonna go put this back up on my wall. I'll be right back.
That shocks me. I didn't see Rick as a Rob Zombie fan.
I love Devil's Rejects. Yeah, I have a bunch of shit upstairs that I had to do. Then I realized I need I need to get a house like Rick to put all my shit in.
Yeah, I like that there's a great scene towards the end of Devil's Rejects when he steals the car from PJ Souls and he gets into the car with the little kid. He's like, "What's the matter, kid? Don't you like clowns? Ain't we fucking funny?" That's like the best scene in that whole thing. I love it.
He's on it.
He's on it. Oh, you got him
he put all the worst Jeffrey Lewis. Yeah.
What's funny is on my poster, somebody wrote an arrow to Jeffrey Lewis and wrote the word pussy.
Huh.
I think it was the girl that was also in Three's Company.
Priscilla Barnes?
Yeah, I think it was Priscilla Barnes that did it. So, but yeah, it's a great poster. I got to get Rob Zombie and Sherry Moon, but I mean, I don't.
Did you get Matthew McGorry on yours?
No, he wasn't in Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, wasn't he in Devil's Rejects?
He was in House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of, but wasn't he in Rejects?
Tiny got killed in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, Sean, Rick's giving you some school on the horror, man.
Wait a second.
What's going on?
He's not in. You sure?
I'm 99%
No, because
sure
I met him at a promotional thing for Devil's Rejects.
was he in the very beginning when they showed what happened to the? Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's in the beginning.
In the very beginning when they showed with the family getting killed.
Because I had him sign my house and my Rejects poster at the same time. So yeah,
I met him. Didn't get his signature, but I met him at Chiller Theater when it was in the tents, and right across from him was David Carradine signing for like $20. He was signing Kill Bill swords. He was signing Kung Fu shit, everything for like $20 that show. Matthew McGorry was like $15 at that show.
That's kind of a cool question. This is totally off subject. What do y'all think y'all's coolest piece signed? Not like signed.
God.
I got so the Punisher came out with a special edition. And it's Tim Duncan, because Tim Duncan has a blackjack speed shop. So on the cover, it's Tim Duncan and the Punisher. And I have it signed by Stanley, Tim Duncan, and Bernthal.
To
get Tim Duncan's autograph.
I think that one's mine.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, and it's to you.
Oh,
Safe Swimming. It's a day bill, original day bill.
That's cool.
I mean, I got a ton of Conan the Barbarian signed stuff, but do you want to see what's a really odd piece of my collection that I'll show to you? I literally have it sitting behind me because I just framed it.
Here's another hilarious one.
If you start unzipping your fly, we're cutting this.
I have a Taylor Swift signed guitar.
This is a prison report for a rules violation that's signed by Charles Manson.
Is it original?
Yeah, it's original.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, in ink. What did he do wrong?
What did he do wrong?
Yeah.
A few things.
I mean, in prison.
Dude,
he just wasn't listening.
He wasn't listening.
Yeah, I got so much signed stuff.
He wasn't
can't even.
And he had dangerous contraband in there.
I mean, I got a cool Eddie Van Halen signed picture behind me, but I mean that's just one of many. You can see it up there. See it?
Oh, right there.
Signed by Eddie. Devo signed by the full band. Gary Newman. Dawkins signed by the full band. Danny Elfman signed Boingo. Signed Kiss album by the whole band. I mean, I've got tons and tons and tons of this shit. I mean, I've been doing it forever, dude. I've been going to conventions since the 80s, you know.
You could look forward to the days where someone in your family, when you croak, they sell it for next to nothing.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is some guy.
If you ever have kids, it's all going on eBay, Sean, all your shit.
Some guy actually commented on my last poster collection video saying how I ruined all of those posters by having them put "To Sean" on them. And I'm just like, you know what, dude? I'm not selling them. I'm going to fucking die with those things. And after that, I could give a fuck whose problem it is that my poster says "To Sean" on it, because I'll be dead. So
I wouldn't sell a single thing in my personal collection.
Never. So I'm with you on that, man. Like, I have a used Travis Barker drum head that I got, like used drum head that someone got signed for me, which is really cool. But I'm like a sports guy.
Yeah,
I'll tell my kids to just put my Conan props in the casket. With me.
Dude, I know. You have a sword, right?
Me with them.
Rick, you have a sword sign, don't you?
Oh, I got, dude, from Conan.
See,
I got so much stuff.
You gotta like
so
hold
much
the
stuff
sword.
from Conan. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I got
that's just us
maybe
nerding out
12 props from the movie.
So I gotta get off of our collecting nonsense. Get back to the business. Somebody, one of you guys in the thread today, were making a comment about a promoter, and this, it's not just this guy. Tons, there's lots of them that do that want to book fucking flights like 6 months before the show. It's so infuriating, man. It's like, dude, there's no way. Like, a lot of times, especially the big actors, they have no clue where they're gonna be. No clue.
Any actor.
Yeah, anybody that's working, you know.
No,
I mean,
I'm
there's
with
a
you
show,
on that.
Chiller, next weekend. You know, I didn't know where Remar was going to be until yesterday. You know, if he was going to be in Toronto or if he was going to be in LA. Between you and me, he has to cancel, so he's not coming anyway.
Yeah.
But I got to call Kevin after we jump off and tell him. But you know, shit happens. But that's the thing. Perfect example. Had I booked that in advance, he's canceling. You know.
Yeah. No, the new thing
And they
isn't just
complain
that.
when you want to change it.
What's that?
I said, and then they complain 3 weeks before the show when you say, you know, they're in a different city working and they need to change the flight.
Yeah.
Then they complain about it. It's like, well, you shouldn't have booked it 6 months early.
The new silver lining they're trying to do is, oh, we're doing buyout 60 days out.
Yeah, not
So
happening.
I'm not going to book the flight to your convention because my working actor doesn't know if he's going to be in LA, Atlanta, Orlando, New York. You don't know where he's going to be yet. He's a working actor. You want to go book Sergeant fucking Slaughter? He's down the street. He's not leaving. You know where he's going to come from.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking him, but you get what I'm saying. Like, if you know, the perfect example, like Bob Stein can attest to this. We had Christian, who's an active wrestler on AEW. If he's wrestling on Thursday on the road, that's where he's going to fly from. If he's not on the call sheet, he's going to fly from Tampa, where he lives. But to put the pressure on us to like, hey, 60 days out, we're going to give you a flight buyout because we don't know. Like, no, man, that's not how this works. Like,
and if the flight is more expensive than your buyout, who's eating that? Me?
Yeah.
The client?
Yeah.
Well, what's worse than that? And I brought this point up with an overseas promoter in Europe where they wanted to give me a buyout. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to use the buyout money to book their flight. Now, if they have to cancel, I spent the buyout money.
Yeah.
You sent it to me, and they're going to get the credit because we're booking it, you know, without insurance. So I made them agree that if you send me that money and they cancel, I'm not sending you the money back. You still lost the money. You still lost it. But I'm not sending you the money back because I'm not who's gonna lose in that? The promoter's gonna get their money back. The talent is gonna get a credit in their name, and I'm gonna have just spent $6,000 on flights that now I've lost the money on. So I don't do flight buyouts. I won't do it. I'm not doing it. And I'm gonna tell you that if they're working on something, you know, especially, you know, stuff like Cobra Kai, stuff like Stranger Things that are both into production right now. I just booked a couple of Stranger Things actors at a show, and I told the promoter, I was like, we might be able to book these flights the week before the show, but it's probably going to be literally the week of the event is when I'm going to get you a flight because that's when they're going to know that their schedule may not change. It still might change. It still might.
I had that issue with Theo Rossi trying to go to Liverpool. He's literally, like Sean pulled it up, he's shooting a movie. You want to book a flight? Shit, cool, sure.
And listen, I agree with you. Like, even like Dom said,
sure.
If you want to book a flight 4 months in advance, okay. But you're going to give me unlimited changes.
Yeah.
Right? I want unlimited changes that it doesn't cost me a single dime to do it, that you're going to change it every time. And when you ask for that, suddenly a month before the show is no problem. But I'm not taking buyouts.
Yeah, I mean, that same promoter that we're talking about, Sean, is pushing for flights. You want to give me a buyout? Cool, I'll go get a buyout from LA. Clients in New York, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, give me a buyout from LA. The client's in New York. You'll save you money. You know what I mean? But that's the thing is like, and again, we don't do this to be dicks. We do it to be reasonable. Like, if my client is filming a movie, and we all know that, all of us can attest to this. There's times where a client's filming a movie and you text him 3 fucking times and you're like, I'm bugging this dude. He's on a fucking movie set or a TV set, or he's overseas filming a movie. So now he's texting you and it's 2 a.m. your time because that's when he has time. Trust me, we're trying to get these flights. We're trying to do that. I think we all have assistants who do our travel, but like I don't. No?
I
No.
don't.
Oh shit.
I do. Well,
My
I
bad,
mean,
I
it's
do.
my partner, Nay,
My bad. Yeah,
but,
Melody does my flights.
she handles all the flight stuff. So
Yeah, Melody handles all that because that's a whole other job in itself. But trust me, we want to get them their flights. But again, I mean, I had Sophia Butella who was going to do Orlando. It's true. So Sophia Butella was going to do Orlando MegaCon, was going to come from London, ended up stuck in Iceland, missed the show. Who's going to pay for that buyout?
yeah.
I mean, they wanted to buy out. Well, she had to come from London and she ended up getting stuck. I still have to go recoup that money, which thank you, Rick. Literally, thank you, because now I remember I have to send that email.
Yeah, well, listen, a buyout is the way of, relieving oneself of the duty of actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Listen, I get it that flights get expensive the closer you get to the show. And juxtapose, there's been many times where I've sent flights and like they don't book them for like 4 weeks and they're like, oh, that flight's too expensive. And I'm like, that flight was $900 when I sent it to you. And
You
now
know
it's
what?
1,500. And you say, no, I sent it. You just got to work through it. You know what I mean? There isn't any promoter that wants to pay more for a flight.
No.
There isn't any promoter that wants to book it 6 months ahead of time or wants to book it 30 days. They just want to get them booked and they're trying to do the best thing for their event. I get it, but I don't. I think that there's that if you build up a reputation of honesty, you know what I mean? That I'll tell. I that's why I told people ahead of time with Stranger Things. I was like, I have no clue what their schedule. I'll book. They'll agree to come. I don't know what their schedule is going to be, so it's going to literally be a last minute booking. And if you do it ahead of time and you're not, lying about where someone's coming from or how much it is, or if they're coming at all, and then also promoters should understand that if they do buyouts, there's a level of it's not in their hands. They have no control of it. They have no clue. At least if they have a flight booked and they booked it, they know the flight's booked and the person is supposed to be coming on that flight. If you just give me $1,000, you don't know what I booked.
And don't complain to me that the flight that you let the talent book themselves with the buyout, that they have to leave the show at noon on Sunday and they can't do the whole day. Well, that you're the one who, you want to control that shit. You should be the one booking the flight,
Yeah.
The flights.
I mean, and I get it, because again, we all, at the end of the day, we all try to work together, right? Like Bob Stein really helped me out with Christian, because Christian, we did not know. We didn't know if he was wrestling that week. We just didn't know. And then he was supposed to go back on the road. He ended up going back to Tampa. Bob fixed it, things like that. But it's a little give and take.
This just came in the mail.
Look at you. That's what United.
It came in the mail. My friggin' million miles plaque. Like,
wow.
It's got, check this shit out. It's got like the member dates, the how many I flew.
Wow.
Like, am I really gonna put this on my desk?
You put it right next to the
100%.
Freddy Krueger hand. Put it right next to the Freddy Krueger hand, dude.
Have it holding it.
Pretty funny though. Anyway,
auction it off. Sign it and auction it off.
I might. You know what? I don't know if you guys saw my post about how they picked me up on the tarmac and they took us for the flight. Did you see the post I made?
No, I missed that one.
So we were coming back from, where the hell are we coming back from? I think Orlando. Yeah, I think so. And we had a layover in Denver and the flight had been delayed and we were literally landing as our other flight was boarding, which was, if you guys know the Denver airport, the two different terminals. Of course, it was in the other terminals, so you got to do the underground fucking train, the whole thing. Seems like I always get screwed in Chicago on that, too. You got to go through the disco tunnel. But we're getting off, and Nay looks out the window and sees this United car. It's a Jaguar, and it says United Courtesy Vehicle or some shit, and she goes, oh look, they're here to pick somebody up. I'm like, fuck, I wish we were on that. We're about to run, and we're bolting out the door, and this person goes, Mr. Clark, and I turn around, they're holding a sign of my name. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. And they come with me, sir, and escort us down onto the tarmac into the car and drove us to the other terminal. I was like, oh, this is some baller shit now.
Who set that up? United made it?
Yeah, because I'm a million-mile guy and all.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm getting that's pretty sweet.
That was the one thing that sucked when I moved from San Antonio to Colorado Springs. I had to switch from being a Diamond Delta to start all the way over to do United.
Oh,
That sucked. I went like from 2014 to 2021 Delta. So I had to start all fucking over.
but
Like,
you still fly Delta for some
yeah,
places?
yeah, but Denver's a United hub.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why Salt Lake like was a Delta. That's why I know the Delta hubs, but yeah.
There's probably people watching this that never get to travel, and then we're just up here bitching about,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, you know, people are saying to me, dude, congratulations on the 1,000,000 miles. I'm like, dude, congratulations. That means I was stuck on a fucking plane for 1,000,000
yeah.
miles.
Yeah. Been on the fucking
I feel
road.
sorry
Long
for
time
myself.
being on flights.
That's
Yeah,
my
that's
favorite
all.
one. Oh my God, you guys have so much fun. Did you see Charlotte? No, I saw the fucking convention center, the airport, and a fucking Grand Hyatt. That's what I saw.
And
You
a
know what I mean?
cab.
Yeah.
Um,
And
okay,
Rick's
well,
case an Uber.
okay, well, hey, there's a topic.
In
This
Rick's
new,
case an Uber.
you know, this whole new trend of a lot of promoters trying to push us off on the fucking Ubers. You know, I'm telling you, I'm not a high maintenance person at all. I'm so low maintenance. But if I've just traveled all frickin' day and I'm dragging between me and Nay 4 suitcases that are 70 pounds each filled with photos and all this crap, I just want to be picked up from the airport. I don't want to go out and try to find the call center or whatever, the pickup thing, and try to wait for a frickin' Uber and God only knows how long it's going to take. Just pick me up. That's all I want.
Yeah,
You know?
sometimes also at midnight when you're landed.
Yeah, I know they're trying to cut costs and this and that, but there's better places that we need a little. Give us a little bit of frickin' respect. Are you going to make Norman Reedus take an Uber? No.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm the guy bringing him, so at least fucking
Yeah.
give me a car. You know.
This is all Rick right here.
I know. That's I'm shocked he hasn't cut me off.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to chime in.
Yeah, man. I've just been left a lot.
I've been left a lot.
It's weird.
It's childhood trauma. He was left a lot.
but it's been like it hasn't even been a lot of times, hey, go take a cab or an Uber. It's just nobody came.
Yeah.
And I'm like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction when he's looking for Mia. I'm like walking around, like looking the airport, looking for people and don't find anybody. And then I just got left and I'm like, all right, well, I'll go jump in a cab. I'm sort of like this. If I knew ahead of time I wasn't getting picked up, I would just go. I wouldn't even call an Uber. I would just go get in a cab. And I know what hotel I'm staying at, and I would go to the hotel and I'd call it a day. But it's like often for some reason, just lately, often for some reason, I've either been, we're not gonna pick you up.
Or we didn't have you on the schedule.
You weren't on the schedule.
Yeah.
You booked my flight.
I had an incident last year with Horror Hound that I sort of regret how I handled it because it was just 1 o'clock in the morning and I was fucking infuriated, with the whole thing and I handled it poorly. That's the damn truth.
Whoa! This is called growth, people. You're seeing this happen right here. Did you just admit to maybe had you blown things out of proportion slightly?
This is actually therapy, not a podcast.
This is therapy.
Let me lay down for this. Yeah. I handled it poorly, but in the end, I felt like sometimes I feel like where if they say, well, Rick, you're wrong, I got to prove myself right. And I think I ended up proving myself right because I was on a transportation list going home. So I just got left off the list. That's all. And it was an honest mistake. But I was also stranded at the airport till 3:30 in the morning. And if it wasn't for JR seeing my post and waking Frank Ramirez from JSA up, I was just going to wait there until 6 o'clock in the morning until Sholo Maraduena landed, and I was going to get in the car with him because I had nobody to bring me back. And there's just been a couple times too where I've stayed at offsite hotels, and they're like, "Well, yeah, if you want to stay at that hotel, you and your clients want to stay there. Good luck getting to the show. You just got to get there yourself." I've just felt like transportation for agents. They definitely shows ain't really picking up our assistants either anymore. I mean, those are
Some still will. Some will.
A few, but a lot of those folks are like, yeah, they definitely got to take an Uber, and I don't mind reimbursing the girls to do that.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're picking up freaking a ton of people at the airport all day long, you tell me you can't fit in a couple of these people, just help us schedule it, you know? Some shows are accommodating and they will do that. Some will actually go out of their way and pick the assistants up, but other ones just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I had an issue with, I think it was, well, I don't want to say it was a major issue, but Charlie's assistant and bodyguard, you guys, you know them, Rick, Dom, Sean, Aaron and Greg, their flight got super delayed. They were landing like 2:45 in the morning. And the show, I can't remember what show it was. Anyways, they were like, hey, do they mind taking an Uber? I go, no, man, pick them up. These guys traveled all day. They're delayed all day.
Yeah.
Like, they're delayed. They're landing at 2:45. Which means they're not going to go to fucking
Ubers ain't coming at 2:45 anyway.
Exactly.
They ain't coming. They're not coming.
And they were nice about it, and they asked. They propositioned it and said, would they mind taking an Uber so our guy, one of our drivers, can sleep? This guy's got to work too. They're not here on fucking vacation. These guys traveled from San Antonio, got stuck in Atlanta or wherever, and had to connect, and their flight got delayed. They landed at 2:45. Mind you, they're supposed to be here before the talent. Now they're after the talent. You know, and then we had to say, no, man, sorry, but pick them up. You know what I mean? Like, it's what it was. But they were nice enough, and they picked them up, and we were like, hey, sorry, but these guys need a ride,
Yeah, well, one thing, I know we're kind of getting off track here and getting to more in our personal stuff than so much to what the fans see. I don't even know how many people watching this or even care about hearing the travel woes.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand, I think a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, say a convention is a 3-day convention. To make that happen, we got to leave the day before, Thursday, and we're usually having to come back on Monday. This is like 5 days out of the week that we're dealing with this stuff for this one 3-day appearance. And then we got to go home, unpack, do our laundry, repack, and do it all over again 2 days later, Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work. It really wears on you. All the travel wears on you, man.
Which makes the internationals even harder.
Oh God,
internationals, it makes it brutal.
Dude, I got to go to Osaka, Japan in 2 weeks, and I'm just dreading that flight.
I mean, at least you two guys live on the East Coast.
Get your next million.
What did he say?
He said he's going to get his next million. But yeah, you guys live on the.
Who do you have in Osaka, Japan?
Regis.
Oh, well, there you go. So Dom wasn't too far off.
No, he meant million miles, not $1 million.
Maybe both. I don't know.
Maybe both.
No, not that much.
No.
But another thing we should maybe touch on is lately this is getting more into our personal stuff. This is us talking about our issues. But lately this insane amount of, the shows wanting more and more and more from us, especially in ways of autographs. And, like, I want your client to sign 50 of these things, for nothing, and I've always been like, do like 20, 30 tops, on something, but it's getting out of control. I don't mind doing it at a reasonable amount, but lately it's gotten crazy, especially these overseas shows wanting 100 items.
Yeah, because
after they're already taking a percentage.
Yeah, you take, and I get. Well, no, I don't get, because when I worked at Alamo City, we asked for like 25, and we used to give them the fucking volunteers. Though this is the part that bothers me.
Yeah,
we used to give those the volunteers. And this is kind of off subject, but not, because this is the point of these fucking autographs. These volunteers sometimes are there 8 fucking hours.
Yeah.
And to go and hand them a fucking autograph by whoever, and it doesn't have to be a Norman, a Charlie, a Jeffrey, a Gayton. Like it's somebody mid-tier, and you give them a $50 free photo op or photo. That's what those are used for. Yeah. These guys are turning around and selling them. So if you take 100 autographs and someone charges $100, that's how much you just made. Now, say the flight was, give me give me an estimate what a flight would cost. $6,000.
Say $7,000 for a business class. Yeah.
$7,000. And the fucking room was for 3 days, and it's $300 a night. You just made, close to $2,000 just on autographs. But they also get a percentage of photo ops and this and that. So, but I agree with you. It's getting carried away with these free autographs.
And I used to be able to justify it to the client by saying, look, the promoter gives them to the staff.
Volunteers.
But now I'm finding that shows are pre-ordering the shit online. Like, people are paying for them ahead of time. And they're using those now. Well, these are going to be part of the 30 you're going to owe us or whatever. And
I don't do that.
Well,
I mean, maybe I have and didn't know it, but
exactly. How do you know what's going on all the time? Our assistants, will try to help us with that. But, if a promoter walks up, or, a head staff person from the show walks up and says, oh, these were in the contract, these need to be signed. And that happens a lot too. Well, they'll just walk up and go, oh, Sean said they do 50 of these,
I haven't had that happen where more than one person has come up to try to collect the I call them gratis, the gratis autographs.
Mm.
I mean, Chiller used to happen.
Yeah, that Chiller, you'd never know who's going to come up and say that
Yeah, I used to call it the Chiller pound of flesh. Like, you have to pay homage to the head of security needs his 5. And Scotty Schwartz needs his 7. And these are for Kevin, and these are for Eddie Micah, and these are for this one. And then maybe collectively it equaled 30, but you'd have to submit to the pound of flesh offering for, each person and their free signatures.
I do remember one time, Rick, when we were at an international show and someone tried to do that, and you were like, we ain't signing anything while I'm not here. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Well, I mean, it's happened often where I just want to monitor it. Listen, if
want to mark them off. We agreed.
Yeah, if I've agreed to sign a certain number of autographs, and again, I may be in the minority where I don't really care what they do with them, because I just don't care. You know what I mean? To me, I don't care, but I could have a client that cares what they do with them.
Yeah.
And wants to know. They said, I look at signatures as it's just ink, right? We're in the meet and greet business, not in the autograph business. So we're selling an autograph, but that's because the fan gets to come up and meet them. Otherwise, we can just do this shit online or do private signings and be done with it. It's the meet and greet business that we're in. So I look at autographs as a celebrity has an unlimited amount of them that exist in their hand. They can sign them, forever and never run out. So, but I got to explain to them sometimes the monetary amount that's associated, or they explain to me, well, hey, I got to sign 30 of these. I'm a $50 autograph. That's $1,500 worth of signatures. Where are they going? Why am I doing it?
Yeah, your flight costs $600.
Why are they posters now and not?
That's the new thing.
8x10s, or why is there Funko Pops that are mixed into these? I don't understand. And
I've seen statues, I've seen posters, I saw fucking skateboards, guitars. Like, man, these are supposed to be 8x10s.
And what I don't want to happen is I do have a company cap. I have a certain amount that I say is standard throughout anybody that I deal with. Mm-hmm. There may be some people that ask me for less. Anybody that asks me for more, I say no. This is the amount. Mm-hmm. I mean, that shouldn't be a deal breaker. If someone asks for 40 and I give 30, 10 autographs in the grand scheme of things should not be a deal breaker to anybody, not for me or not for the promoter. And I think that's where I try and, crack this code with everybody, where they have their policy and I have my policy. Who wins? I just want to have a medium, but it does seem to be increasing lately. When the promoters book with the agencies, they got to buy all of the photos too. None of these agencies bring any photos with them. They want 3-4 first-class flights. So maybe because the cost of that is going up, we're paying for it in the end. I mean,
like you said, if you book, I mean, we all know this. What's a normal first? Pick a show.
I would love if they gave them out to the volunteers.
Yeah, say if it was LA, pick a long flight, LA to Orlando, first class flight, $1,400. maybe.
Depending on
Depends.
when you book it. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,400. Let's say $1,500. If you have a $50 autograph client and he signs 50 autographs, that's $2,500. They've already made more than that. So you give up the hotel, cool. But I've heard people say, "Oh, we got to make our money back." Well, you do. You also, our people are bringing people through those doors.
No.
Let's not act like you didn't make money.
Yeah.
With all those people out there.
And you're selling a ton of merch at your merch table. You're selling vendor tables to all these vendors. Yeah, I mean, you're over there selling certificates of authenticity now. I mean, there's tons of ways you're making money.
Making our money back
Yeah.
and making money off of us are two complete different things. That's the only reason, Rick, that I have an issue with it, and I think Sean does, is there's a difference between, you go, because again, though, they're not giving them the volunteers. When I worked at Alamo City, dude, we give them the volunteers. I know my cousin over at Big Texas, he gives half of them the volunteers because some of them were disabled, some were, Army vets and things like that. So doing that, but when you go to these international, sorry, real quick, when you're right, though, they're like, hey, we're selling the background photos and this and that. Like, we haven't even fucking landed yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sign the banners, because we're selling those too. And this,
And the badges.
Yeah. And the badges. Here's the thing is the problem I have with it is the fact that they used to tell us they were to be given away to the volunteers. And then suddenly on the hush hush, without telling us, they're now selling them online before the show, which is technically competing with our autographs we're selling during the show. Exactly. If you want to take them and then afterwards put them on a website, and whatever, fine, especially if you had a missed guarantee and you want to have somebody sign $2,000 worth of pictures to make up for that missed guarantee, fine, do whatever you want with them, knock yourself out. But pre-ordering them ahead of time and advertising it, and here, this one has to be made out to Joe, this one's to Todd. It's like, wait a second. Wait, why are we signing these right now? At least how about telling us? How about running it by us? Nobody's running it by any of this stuff by us,
I think one time we did a show and I was just, this. We all hook each other up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm oversharing. Like, Dom, you text me this weekend, like, yo, man, I want to meet Juliette Lewis. And I was like, yeah, dude, I can go talk to Tuesday. It's one of my assistants. We all do that. Yeah. We all hook each other up. That's professional courtesy, but we're also friends. But when you go sign all these free autographs, right? And then someone comes up, usually the leads or staff members, like, oh, hey, this is my friend and this is my cousin and this is my wife. Can we get free autographs? Like, yeah, dude, there's a stack that we just signed over there. You want to bring it back? We'll put your name on it.
Yeah.
There's a stack over there that we just gave away. And that happened at a recent show that I won't mention, but we signed 100 of them. And then people came through. Oh, this is my wife. This is my son. This is it's my cousin. Cool, man. Yeah, bring that 8x10 or bring that poster or bring that fucking sideshow collectible that we signed. Bring it over. They'll personalize it for them.
Yeah. I haven't had a huge issue after I've established how many I'm signing. Listen, I'll go through them and I'll count them, and instead of 30, there'll be 32 in there, whatever. You know what I mean? I've had a couple where there were 40 or 50, and I just took the extra 10 out or the extra 20 out, and we just signed the 30. There was a few shows where I felt like there was mail order that was mixed in to things, and we just didn't do them. Or
that's a big problem for me when they're supposed to be gratis 8x10s. And the promoters are pre-selling them. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think that's news to me. I haven't seen the. I mean, I know that there's mail order that goes along with the show, but But
that's in a side room, and you get paid right there for them.
I think it's been a very long time since I had clients sign gratis pictures and then have to have names on them.
No, so I'm totally cool with like how the GalaxyCon people have been coming to the shows and doing the back in the back, and they're giving you table price.
They pay. They
do
pay
that all
Sam,
do that all day
Sam,
long.
I love doing that with Sam. Sam usually has them set up, money separated.
Yeah, Sam's awesome. I'm totally down for that. But then when you're being handed a stack and saying, "Oh, these are for the contract," and then you're finding out that they're ones they sold online, like pre-sold to fans, it's like,
I've seen it.
It's happening a lot
lately, Rick. I've seen it a lot lately, and you go, come on, man, like stop, you know. And like I said, maybe I have a soft spot for it, but give these fucking things to the volunteers too, man.
Yeah.
Like these volunteers, and that's the thing that honestly, man, and I'm very, very, very big on it. A lot of my clients tip the volunteers and the line people.
Yeah.
Because
Same.
these fucking people, man, take their whole entire weekend. They pay for parking. Sometimes they get a voucher from the con to get some food. Things like that. They fucking work 3 fucking days for free.
They got to wear the same T-shirt all week.
Yeah, the same fucking bullshit T-shirt they give them. And before, I'm with Sean on this, like they used to give them to the volunteers. Now it's like, oh no, you can go fucking buy them too afterwards. I don't know. I just got a weird soft spot for it because
and that's why I'm always good to the volunteers. I always hook them up. I always say, hey, you know, wait to the end of the show on Sunday. You know, we'll take care of you. You know, you see a guy like Lillard stand there afterwards, and the whole line is people wearing the same damn shirt because it's all the volunteers of the show, and he'll take pictures with them, sign shit. And I'm fine with that because those people work their asses off. They deserve it. What bothers me, and I'm not, you know, people could be like, going, dude, what do you care? It's just an autograph. What's a big deal? And true. I just want to be told. Just be honest with me. Don't let me find out later that this is what's really happening. Don't lie to me. Like, look, Rick has no clue what we're talking about. So it's been going under the radar with him, you know. So, you know, these are the kind of things that it just starts. I feel like we're being nickeled and dimed, you know.
Yeah. I guess Horror Hound does it that way, right? They send you in a room and all of their free autographs are for their staff people.
Yeah, and they're all labeled with their names on them and everything, which I actually like it.
Yeah.
I do too.
It's like, here, you know, go just knock them out, and then nobody's bothering you at and they do that so none of their volunteers are asking for free shit. Like it's all in there.
Planet, that dude gives these vouchers.
Yeah.
And he gives them to the volunteers, and they come through the line, and they tell us, like it says on there, this goes towards the comps, and it's usually just an 8x10. They're not getting posters, and I kind of like that.
It's staff people or volunteers?
Volunteer/staff.
I would do that all day rather than sign the comp pictures.
Yeah, and they do it, and I thought that's a really cool idea. Like, this is a comp, and then
you're keeping track of it.
You keep track of it, and you hold on to them, and then you're like, okay. Like I remember this because we had Hunnam and Perlman and Planet, and I think Lillard and those guys were there. And I remember they came through, and like someone had like, I think we limited 10 for Charlie from staff or something. I can't remember, but I remember we had them, and then we went inside in the other like 25 or whatever it was, 30.
Well, that's because that promoter's not an autograph dealer. You know,
he's
a promoter. A lot of these guys are opening up shops, and you know they're becoming autograph dealers. It's like, are you a promoter? Or are you an autograph dealer?
No, a lot of these promoters are becoming autograph dealers. A lot. In fact, I'm having a hard time remembering who isn't one at this point.
I mean, that show we talked about earlier, we had the Sons of Anarchy guys go in, and there's probably, you know, a little different because then you get helmets, you get cuts, you got 8x10s, you got posters, and you go, yo, man, we're not signing, we're not supposed to be signing memorabilia here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It also bugs me when they come up and they're like, oh, we need the 20 signed photos. So should we just pick out the ones we want? Like what? you don't have them? You want me to pay for them on top of it, you know?
Yeah, you got to pay for it. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's the principle of it, the point. No, I get it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm with Sean on this. The main point, I think, when I'm with Sean is just don't lie about it.
Just ask us.
Just if you're upfront with us, yo, man, cool. We can go and tell people, you know, blah, blah. And, you know, I think we all know this. The clients who've done these and know, got to sign comps, got to do this, got to do that. You know, I had a situation where we went and did a Galaxy Con, who's probably the best mail-in company that I like, and we get them done fast, and Sam's amazing. And we went one time, and they didn't have the comps ready because they have their own comps. And Hunnam didn't get to do them. And I was like, oh, shit, we're going to owe these guys comps. We'll just sign them at another show and do them. But they're honest about them. Like, they'll have them labeled, they'll be numbered and things like that. It's the ones where you go and just try to slide it in, because that's how you lose our trust. You know what I mean? I think I'm with Sean on that. That's the main point. It's when you don't tell us and then you try to slide things in. But what Dom said, are you an autograph company or a memorabilia company? Because when you come and book us and you go, oh, we got 12 helmets to sign. Those are like, technically, back to what we talked about, those are premium items. Those aren't 8x10.
Yeah.
Plus, when you're a show that, you know, you're asking for all this free stuff, and you're a show that doesn't even have a green room. You know what I mean?
Those are tough ones.
I mean, it's like you're asking me for free shit, but I can't even go grab a soda and a snack out of, you know, you don't have a green room? Okay. You know.
This is part of that because this is hilarious. What about getting per diems until you sign the autographs?
Or getting
That's
per
only
diems
happened to me one time.
Well, now the new thing is getting per diems at the end of the weekend in checks, which completely defeats the purpose of the per diem.
Yeah.
We're getting them in Venmo or Zelle.
Yeah. We did an international show and they were like, oh, we give them at the end. Per diems are meant for when they're here, not when we're leaving.
Well, especially international, they're spending the money's different. They got to use it while they're here, not when they go home.
That one's my favorite. Oh, mate, we give them to you at the end. Like, fucking leaving. Why do we need the money now? Like then.
Hey, you know, I don't think I ever asked you guys, not to change the subject a little bit, but do any of you guys have like a dream client that you would love to be the person to bring to shows, to bring to the fans?
Of course.
Like one person, if you could pick one person and almost forget about money for a second, right? I mean, I know it's about money, but forget about money for a second.
Mm-hmm.
One client out there that you'd like to rep, you hope is nice, obviously, but you'd like to bring them out to the fans. Like there's a sense of, I think that we probably each had like a moment. Like I was really, Michael C. Hall wasn't my dream client to bring to the people, but I was really, really, really happy to do that for some reason. Because I felt like there were so many people that were excited and obviously proved that there were so many people. I mean, you were there, Sean. All you guys were there. I mean, that Monster-Mania was Dexter Fest. I mean, that was like Dexter or die at that show.
And you're saying a client we don't rep.
Yeah. Somebody you don't rep that you would love to bring to an event because you think it would just make everybody absolutely fucking thrilled to meet them.
Well, I mean, I feel like I did it with Jamie Lee Curtis. That was, I don't think, and as far as being the horror guy, I don't think I can top that. But I guess next would probably be Kurt Russell.
Okay.
I would go actually probably, but this is me being a fan of him, but I'd go and we know somebody that kind of works with him, but Emilio Estevez. I'm a huge Emilio Estevez fan. Like, I love that dude's work.
I got a feeling that guy is he'll be out there at one point. Yeah. I got a feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. They tried. Steel City tried real hard.
Dude,
to make it happen.
Kiefer called him.
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, Kiefer called him.
What is it? Does anybody know what his real issue is?
Just doesn't want to do.
Yeah. Just not interested.
Just not interested in doing them.
I mean, I have a client like that does private signings. Daniel Stern will not do a convention.
That's crazy.
I thought you just announced him that he was going to start doing them. Did you not? Oh.
No, he does privates.
Oh.
The other one would be Kevin Bacon. That'd be the other one.
I think you'll see him at one eventually.
Yeah. But they have to still be alive?
Yeah, they got to still be alive.
I don't know how they're going to sign, Dom. Got to do something really fast there.
God, I don't know. I mean, I was going to say Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, those would be big ones. DiCaprio.
Cronenberg would be a big one for me. I mean, I had him booked before the pandemic.
But he's done conventions.
Well, he's done a couple.
Yeah, but we're talking about David Cronenberg. Yeah.
I mean, he's done two.
Yeah.
My first pick was Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
And part of it is slightly selfish because, man, would I love to sit down with Kurt Russell and just fucking talk movies, man. I mean, Escape from New York, The Thing. I've never talked to any of those Thing guys, but I always just wondered what it was like to be on a film like that was so good and used all practical effects from top to bottom for that entire movie. I mean, that had to be.
You had lunch with Wilford.
What's that?
You had lunch with Wilford.
That's right. He told me to stop eating flour. Wilford Brimley told me I was kind of a chubby guy and I shouldn't eat stuff with flour in it anymore. It was
the diabetes.
Yeah, but remember we were talking about, Dom, he liked me because we started talking about Westerns and I said the greatest Western ever made was Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
And he turned to me and goes, I like you now. You're a good kid, because that's right. That is the best question. But since Kurt Russell was already named, I would name Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Because I just think that people would absolutely love to meet that dude. And all of the stuff that I've ever seen him do, he seems to be so nice to everybody.
Yeah.
And obviously,
so I think that he would be. I think he'd be.
It's a good one.
King would be a big one.
Which one?
Stephen King.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he's kind of an asshole, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he sort of comes off as I would want someone that would be like super nice, and the fans have nothing bad to say about them, and they're just happy with what happened. And there's something, I told my wife one time that success and the exhilaration of being successful can be fleeting, because when you get someone like that, when you book a Michael C. Hall at a show, or Sean, when you book a Jamie Lee Curtis at a show, when they get announced, there's a few moments of, man, I fucking did it.
Yeah.
I got him to a show. And then your phone starts to ring with the go fuck yourselves of, why didn't they come to my show?
That's what I dealt with.
Why'd you do that to me? Or how could you bring them there? Or why didn't you choose me? Or I would have loved to have that person. Or why didn't you offer him to me? And you're kind of like, yeah,
No.
Man, it just like deflates so quick. Because you got to explain yourself. And I've always told everybody that asked me about Michael C. Hall, I really did think that Monster-Mania was the best show to do first. Because I just thought that was his people. That was his. I didn't think Comic-Con people were his people.
Based on what we saw in Dallas, we knew that was the case.
Damn straight. Damn straight.
No, I felt the same way when I got Hunnam and Kiefer. Kiefer's like, we all know this. There's Comic-Con famous and there's actor famous.
No.
Like we both know that. There's some people, Sean, do you know who Chris Sabat is?
Yes.
Okay. Anime guy, right? Dom, you know that Chris Sabat?
No clue.
He did our anime show.
Guy, right?
The dude was there from the start until 2 hours afterwards. It's Comic-Con famous, but you walk right by him in a room, you wouldn't know who he is. And the point being, when I had gotten Kiefer and Charlie, it was literally the same way, Rick. You felt fucking great. And I think actually all three of you guys texted me congrats on Kiefer. But then you had people going, oh, fuck, why did Fred fucking get him? Why did Fred get him? And go,
that's what I said. Why did Fred fucking get him? I was mad.
Yeah. That motherfucker.
I didn't congratulate you bastard. I was mad.
But and you get him and you go, holy shit, I did it. Because this is a true story. Like I was home in San Antonio when I lived there. Jason Patrick called me and said, are you in LA? I don't fucking live in LA. Can you be here tomorrow? Went, had lunch, met Kiefer. Did her first show. And you're nervous as shit because you need it to go smooth. First show ever, Horror Hound. And Horror Hound fucking took care of him.
Yeah.
And they made sure he had a great show. He did it.
You have to know your market. You have to know his audience. You have to know their market. You have to know where they're going to sell.
Well, that's the thing is like when you have a brand new client and it's their first show ever, like a perfect example, Mikey Madison, who I just had at Spookala, and Melissa Barrera, they were both nervous about doing it. And I had tons of offers for them, but you need to put them in a situation that like if you can't do good here, you can't do good anywhere. Sure, somebody could say, well, no, I'll offer you X amount of guarantee for them. It's like, yeah, but that's not, no offense to your show, that's not the experience I want them to have the first time out.
I agree, because let's face it, a lot of these actors, they're doing it for the money, but the money is not the priority. Like a lot of them don't really need the money. They're doing it to meet their fans, and they're doing it, they want a nice environment. They want a nice green room. They want a nice hotel. They don't want to be staying where the fans are staying, so they get harassed trying to get a beer.
Yeah.
So, you're making good money is great, but a lot of the times that's going to outweigh being treated well. That's not going to outweigh it, and that's not going to be a good first experience.
A person has to be at least comfortable, right? I'm not saying that there has to be all this splendor put upon them, with green room treats and Salt Lake City has fucking puppies that you get to pet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
And a
everybody's
massage
gonna have,
therapist and
yeah, and a tailor that will send you free shirts. I mean, not us. I mean, we get the scraps that are left behind, but not every place has to be that like that. But when someone's comfortable with how something does, it's better for all the other shows because they want to continue to do it. The second someone becomes
it's the
uncomfortable,
actor ego thing too.
it's time to go.
They don't want to feel low rent. They don't want to feel like they're at a carnival. They want it to feel like an official event.
Yeah.
A nice convention center and good green room and just a classy environment, not a basement of a Crown Plaza where the roof's leaking.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's one of the best.
But if the roof was leaking in the Crown Plaza, the basement is the place I'd want to be.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things, like when we try to tell promoters constructive criticism, like I said, Nick over there and oh boy at Spookala, and like I remember me and Rick used to beg Bob Stein for fucking volunteers. When Dom, that other guy Dom, which I never had.
It wasn't Bob for volunteers, it was Dom.
No, but when Bob took over, he still didn't have volunteers.
Oh, he didn't? Okay.
I remember that. Like, because I fucking begged him. I'm like, look, man, I know you own the show now. But yes, with Bob, you're right. But Bob used to put like one staff, or Dom used to put one staff member with him. But when they take constructive criticism, it's not like, hey, we're trying to be big shit. We want our clients to continuously want to come to this show. You know what I mean? Because guys like Bob, which we mention Bob a lot, and the reason we mention Bob a lot is because we talk to him, a lot. But when
he's a good dude, he listens.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, he let him and Denise, they listen.
Yeah.
And when you actually give a shit about us, that's why I love Dan Farr. I don't book a ton of people in Dan Farr's show, but I'll book 3 or 4. But he genuinely gives a shit that people have a good time, and I really respect that, because people go, oh, well, they made a lot of money. The guy Quint in Brussels, I book 1 or 2 people a show. That dude will stay up all night pissed off if the client's not comfortable having a good show. That shit is what means a lot to us. Yes, hey, we came down, made a lot of money. But as a promoter, if you go, hey, well, your fucking guy made a lot of money, like, he can fuck off. Like, no, that's not how this works, man.
Have anybody ever said that to you? I've never had a promoter say that.
No, I'd fucking slap the
shit. Have anybody ever said that?
And they made a lot of money, but they had a banana and a Nutri-Grain bar all day.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing is, like, I mean, it's like like, okay, on that note, Rick, we had a clients go do internationals, made a lot of money, and we go, hey, we are per diem money. And the response was, they made a lot of money out there. Like, the fuck? Like,
yeah.
What do you mean? Like, it's in the contract,
Oh.
But I think if, when promoters watch this, because I know promoters have watched it, that's the stuff that means a lot to us. Like you said, Sean, the Ubers, the things like leaving fucking Rick. Rick once sat in the back of a fucking truck, I
sat with the luggage in the trunk of a car one time. Yeah. To get back to the hotel. But let me put a spin on something real quick, and let me and this could turn into maybe I don't know. We've been on for 3 hours now, but in the defense of some promoters, sometimes there are a lot, and I feel like I have these conversations with promoters sometimes in these sessions where we talk on the phone and we almost vent to each other and whatnot. From the agency side of things, put them in one category, and then from a fanager side of things, where maybe they don't know what they're doing side of things, these promoters sometimes get screwed by some agents financially, where they book someone and then they're like, oh, by the way, you got to fly their whole family into the event. And the promoter's like, well, they all got to fly first class. I got to buy 5. Well, if you want them to come to the show, I mean, what are you going to, and it's not in the contract. But they, I don't think that the agencies, look at these contracts as anything that they have to abide by anyway. They just add things on, and, oh, we need our own special green room now and a quiet room. And, we need all of these cars and all these other stuff. I think
hair and makeup and stuff.
Well, yeah, I think some of the promoters might be a little gun shy occasionally. And I can tell that they are, because I'm seeing larger and larger and larger contracts with all kinds of shit in them. Like, damn, you need to put that into a contract that you can't do this, this, and this, or this person can't do this, or you're not going to fly in 19 staff members for one person. So I think that they might be getting a little gun shy too, because there's so many agents out there that are just taking massive advantage of them in terms of what they're asking for after the fact and outside of the contract. And again, what's the worst thing that can happen to a promoter when it comes to talent?
Not showing up.
They cancel. They don't come.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody saying, "Oh, well, you don't want to give me those free flights, their uncle and their cousin can't come, or their homeside car is $1,000 each way, or they need I didn't say that you needed a hotel suite. Well, now we need 2 hotel suites, whatever it is." Promoters afraid the person's going to cancel, and then they're going to hear all this shit from the fans, then how'd they cancel? Does the promoter really want to go out there and say, "Oh, here's what happened. Their agent tried to take advantage of me"? Now, listen, present company, we don't do that shit, right? And I know a bunch of other people that don't, that are super reputable, Lance and Ben Littman, people like that understand this side of it and don't do stuff like that, promoters. But there's some people that might be taking advantage. And I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of contracts change to combat some of that. Look at that dog's face, to combat some of that stuff.
Yeah, it seems like what you're describing is more of the big agencies. I mean, I've heard tales of some people that aren't with big agencies being a little shady, but for the most part, that sounds like the big agencies that are the ones that take that kind of advantage. We've all been in this business a long time now. So what's everybody's favorite thing about this job? We've bounced on a lot of negatives on this episode, just more of us just pissing and moaning. I'm sure all the comments are going to be these 4 guys just fucking, all they are a bunch of crybabies. What do you like about the job? What is, we'll start with you, Dom.
To me, it's like I like that. Well, number one, I like working for myself. That's probably my favorite part. That I don't have a 9 to 5 cubicle job, and it's an interesting job that we constantly changes, and you're constantly meeting new people and going to different places and working with actors that you never thought you'd work with and making new friends. I never knew any of you guys before this, and I have other people who are attendees that are friends that I never would have met. I mean, I met my fiance at a con, and so that's my favorite part. The human connection, the flexibility of the job, and just everybody you meet.
Fred?
No, me, man. I mean, it's one thing that I think we all get complacent with, is that I hate when people try to act like they're not fans of people. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
At one point, we sat here and watched some of these people Sean, like you work with Jamie Lee Curtis. Did you ever think growing up you're gonna fucking work with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
It's how I felt when I'm not name dropping, but it's kind of a big point of this is like, you see people on TV you grew up. Like, my favorite movie of all time is Karate Kid. I consider Billy Zabka a friend. Me and Rick, we hung out in a casino with Billy. Like that type of camaraderie. It's also, this is getting a little cheesy, but it's not. As somebody who like appreciates art and things like that and shit, when you see people meet their heroes, I actually think it's pretty dope. Some people think it's silly when people cry, and I mean it's different because I'm really awkward when people cry. But when you see people make people's days, it's pretty fucking dope. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We actually, sometimes we take this shit for granted. We really do. There's times where you're sitting at a fucking table and you go, this is a pretty cool fucking table I'm sitting at. You know what I mean? And then like, you got to soak it in. You sit around and you go, holy shit. Like, I used to watch these guys on TV. I used to pay to watch, I used to walk to the theater to watch these guys. So I think that shit, but it makes the job really fun, man, really cool. The traveling is really cool as somebody. My favorite thing to do is travel, not for work, but I don't know, man. It's the camaraderie that you get with your clients. Some of them, become friends. Some are just, acquaintances. But definitely, man. When you see people and you see people genuinely give a shit, like I love hearing the big clients say the reason I want to do this is 'cause I want to meet the people that made me who I am, So I don't know. It's kind of cool to see that, dude. Like, but that's my fun part. But also, I've made friends doing this. I mean, this was kind of funny, but I text Dom today a photo in 2017 when we went to dinner because Apple brings up your memories or whatever. And it was really cool. And that's how long I've been going to dinner with Dom. Me and Rick, we go to dinner, and you and I've gone and watched boxing fights. So I don't know, man. I think doing that and actually having fun and enjoying what we do, because people think our job sometimes bullshit. It's a fucking hard job, man. Dealing with what we deal with the personalities and stuff, but being able to actually work with these people, you know, that's my favorite thing, man.
Rick?
I'm almost along the same lines of Fred. When I was a little kid, I was sort of nerdy, and I'm a little chubby kid with red hair and whatnot that likes comic books, and would sit there in class and look at a Spider-Man comic or a Conan comic and try and duplicate the entire cover and draw the letters and stuff like that. And I was sort of nerdy, and I made a friend with this kid Joe who was kind of the same way as me, and we just stayed together and we were friends. And hell, he was the best man at Christ, both my weddings. He was best man at my wedding. I still talk to him to this day. And but I distinctly remember the feeling of being a kid and not fitting in any place.
Mm.
And I combated that by watching movies, by watching Conan and Red Dawn. And Sean, you and I had talked, and we're bizarrely similar in some of the there you go. Right, we're bizarrely similar in some of the movies that we really like Over the Edge. Like I didn't know if anybody on the planet had ever seen Over the Edge when I was a kid. I thought that shit was my movie. How much I loved Dragon Slayer, as a kid. I thought this was like the best movie I'd ever seen in my life. I wanted that little necklace and hold it up too. Right. So I was like this dorky little kid, but everyone else, didn't feel that way. But you go to these conventions, and I feel like that they're people that some of them, or a lot of them, are people that don't fit in where they're at, and they come to the shows and they fit in. So that's why, like, when I hire assistants and handlers and stuff, I was like, please don't ever let me see anybody treating anybody badly, ever. I want everybody. I mean, obviously there's fans that you have to intercept certain things that are being rude or whatever, and maybe you got to get loud with them occasionally. But I just want everybody to like fit in, so to bounce that where Fred is, it's nice to see them meet people that they maybe have changed something in their lives. And I'll share this as an example. This is the only example I'll share, but I had a client that didn't particularly care for some of his older movies. And when someone chose a certain film, like the picture, you could tell that he was like, oh, okay, yeah, this movie again. It's so silly and so ridiculous. And he signed this picture for this girl, and she told him how much she loved it. And he was sort of just kind of blew it off. He was kind of like, yeah, that's nice. And I was walking to a green room, and I saw her in a corner, like really sad. She was like crying. And I went over, and like Fred, I'm bad with people crying too. And I was like, is everything okay? Can I help you with something? She's like, no, this actor, by their name, just really kind of crapped on this movie and made it sound like a terrible thing. I was like, I'm really sorry. She's like, yeah, this was me and my mom's favorite movie when I was a kid. And when she was dying in hospice of breast cancer, we watched it every day, and it made her laugh every day. And I'm like, fucking A. I went right over to this actor and I told him that story. I was like, this is why you come, dude. I was like, so you got a moment right here that you can take advantage of and go over and talk to this girl and really make her feel good about it. And that's what happened to me when I met Sandel Bergman and Jerry Lopez and Sven Ole Thorson and all these people from Conan the Barbarian. I was just like, oh man, here they are. How is it possible that I watched this movie 30,000 times, went through 10 VHS tapes, and now I'm sitting here having dinner with them. It's not possible that this is happening in my life. Because listen, you know, I may be the second oldest in this group. Sean, I think you're a little bit older than me. I got more years behind me than I do in front now. Right. So I want to soak some of these moments in and hopefully do this long enough where I can bring my kids to some of the shows and maybe they can meet some people that they, you know, like on TV now and stuff. Listen, I still say to this day, like the smile on my wife's face when she met David Zayas and Michael C. Hall was like, you know, it almost made the entire show worth it just to see her meet those because she loved that show so much. So I think that there's something to that. And to me, you know, besides a little travel and hanging, and yeah, I've made friends with all of you guys and I love you all to death. And the same thing with some of my clients. There's those moments that sort of make it worth it. Because there's times in the business where I feel like this big old taker. I'm just like taking everything. Give me my flight, give me my per diem, and give me my car service, and give me my and now give me my commission. Ha ha ha. Let me run home. But you know, I'll go to shows with Finn and Gayton. I don't know if you guys have seen me do this, probably not, but I make those guys sign 10 8x10s right before they do the show, and I leave them behind them. And then every once in a while, if I see somebody out in the field that I know damn well ain't coming down the line because they can't afford it, I'll take one of those 8x10s and I'll walk out. I was like, "Oh, Gayton wanted you to have this. He said that you're super cool." And they explode with like enjoyment, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." And you know what? Some of it's for me. I know it sounds stupid and sappy, and I'm probably destroying my tough guy reputation, but some of that is for me to feel good about like giving back to everybody.
I think Dom nodded off. Oh,
Dom,
there you
you
go.
Send it a text.
Yeah.
And now you, Sean.
I do it for the money. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And
The fun. I got a good follow up that I want to ask you guys.
You do it to buy props.
So no. Believe me, I deal with imposter syndrome quite often. Like, you know, why am I here? I shouldn't be here right now. I mean, I'm sitting at this table with all these fucking people. Are you kidding me? And you know, it's one of those things. Believe me, I'm incredibly grateful at the opportunities. We work in this all, you know, 24 hours a day. All four of us are in this world. You know, I'm constantly looking around going, got to pinch myself. I can't believe I'm here right now hanging out with these people and doing this and that. And, and it is a real kick to be able to bring these people to the fans, you know, and see them light up when they meet them, and meeting the fans at the conventions that come up and are grateful for what we do, and they say thank you, and they go, man, I just want, all the time people are coming up to me going, dude, I just want to say how much I appreciate what you've done for the horror community and all you've contributed to the horror community, you know, because in addition to this, the other stuff I've done, you know, DVD wise and all that crap, whatever, maybe this channel. But it's, you know, that's really gratifying, and it's nice when people appreciate it. And it's insane that I've made a career out of a hobby, you know. I remember Dom when he was on the other side of the table, and that's how I met him first. We were friends before he was an agent, you know. Even though you remember seeing me, Rick, I didn't really get to know you until after you started working in the biz. And Fred, I met you as you were, you know, on the promoter side back in the day. But yeah, you know, it's cool to make friends like, you know, there's other guys, especially other agents or other promoters that we've become lifetime friends with. It's cool. It's like our job is like a traveling circus, man. It's like the vendors, everybody, you know, you go to the next city and you see those same people, and, you know, and it's like a traveling circus. It's trippy, you know. And I'm grateful for it. And, yeah, I keep wondering when it's going to end, you know, but, and what were you going to say, Fred?
I got a question for you guys. I thought this would be like a little fun one. your top 5 clients you love to work with. Not money makers.
They're all gonna get mad if they're not in the top.
I know. I thought I put the pressure on you. Not just money makers, not the big dog.
Man, see, the problem is I'm gonna forget. I know I'm gonna forget some people and then get. All right, I'll just Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, Jamie Kennedy. You know, because we've all become really good friends, and we actually go out every night. We play cornhole. We're like, you know, we've all been to my houses. I've been to all of their houses. We've all become super tight. You know, obviously Nick Castle, he's become like, you know, like family. One more, huh? I know the problem is my friggin' clients watch this shit. So
that's what I'm saying. You're in big
That's why I thought it would be fun on that one.
I'm spacing. I mean, Remar, I've become super tight with. I mean, I've become good friends with Bernthal too, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's a pain in the ass to work with. He's not. Even though I love the dude and he's a friend, he's not the. He's one of those guys, and he'll admit this, and he straight up tells me he loves to give me shit. He loves to fuck with me. So, you know, he takes pleasure out of watching me sweat. You know, he'll screw with me. So that's not fun for me. You know. So anyway, Dom, you
go. Geez, again, it's really hard. I mean, I love Barbara Crampton, you know, she's one of my favorites, and Dee Wallace, and William Catt. Henry Thomas is always great, you know, always easygoing. Andrew Divoff. I mean, so many. It's hard to pick 5. It really is. I mean, Billy Zane's fun, you know, Terry Kaiser.
Wait, did you just say Billy Zane's fun?
I get along with him. I mean, he can be a little bit of a diva. He can be a little. We have the same sense of humor. And we've really, you know, gotten to know each other, you know, like a sense of humor and stuff like that. So I have fun with him. I think he is a diva though. I mean, he'll admit that he's a diva. But yeah, it's just hard to tell. I mean, there's so many clients that have become friends, and I mean, Charlie Band obviously is one of my idols, and you know, I was friends with him before I was an agent. That's just hard to pick, but those names come to mind first.
Rick?
I'm going to choose the people that I laugh with the most.
It's a good one.
So I'm not going to put, these are the people that I like, and everybody else is on the people that I hate. The people that when I'm at shows that I laugh with the most are Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants. We laugh our asses off. This guy plays pranks on me, tells Britt to text me that he's mad about something or that there's an emergency, and I come running over there and he's just laughing under the table because there's no emergency. I love that guy. Billy Zapka and Martin Cove, just because we have adventures and we just tell stories and we laugh our asses off and we go out and have dinner together. And, you know, there isn't a time where, like, those two guys will pick shows, and when they ask, they're like, "You gonna be there?" "Oh, I can't get to that one."
No.
Well, maybe we'll pass on that one because, you know, we want to go with you. Gaten Matarazzo and his entire family, we just have a good time, right? Hanging out with that kid is fun. He's not a kid anymore. He's like 23 years old, but hanging out with him is fun. His dad is amazing. His mother is amazing. His stepmother, his brother, his sister, his grandparents. I know them all. They're all awesome. And somebody new that I have just had a really good time with is McKenna Grace and her mom. We were just in Belgium, and, you know, I don't know if this has happened to you before, but I've gone to like international shows with clients, and they're like, "Okay, bye." You know, we do the show and then they go off and do it. You know, if we're there an extra day, they just go to off. I mean, they call me every day. "What are we doing for dinner, Rick? Where are we going on an adventure today? Let's go get some ice cream. Let's go get some pizza. Let's go this." They just really like involved me in the process. And I thought that was great. And we laugh our asses off when we're doing shows. So Joey Pants, Zapka, Cove, Gaten, McKenna Grace, whenever I'm with them, I just laugh my ass off. So that makes it enjoyable and makes the job easier too.
Fred.
In no order. Mark Paul Gosselaar. When I met Mark Paul, I had booked him through his agency, and he came through Lexington Comic-Con. And I was just like, I saw him and I go, fuck, Zach Morris looks like he's a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? I was like, this dude looks like a fucking tool. Went to breakfast the next morning with him. Instantly, next day, we're fucking clowning Gilbert. You know, just like instantly. Like nobody talks more shit than Mark Paul Gosselaar. Like, just like kind of like what Rick's saying. These are the guys I have fun with. Like that dude is fucking hilarious. Charlie Hunnam for sure. That dude, it's one of the ones where you just wouldn't think the guy is that big. He's just so fucking cool. And he's like, it's not that he just treats me well. He treats Melody very well. The Flores brothers. He loves the Flores brothers.
He treats me nice.
Yeah. He knows Rick. Like he fucking, I respect that. You know, he loves Rick, and, you know, like we've been to dinners together, and, you know, Charlie's just one of the guys that he's just, that's the best way to say it. He's just one of the guys that happens just to be uber famous. And that's what I respect. Key Kwan, definitely, because he was been there from the get-go. Him and his wife, if you've ever been around him and his wife together, they're just like the fucking sweetest. Lou Diamond Phillips.
Super nice guy.
Has to be one of the most genuine fucking people I've ever met on the earth. My dog, here's your dog. Yeah, Lou Diamond Phillips, and then of course Perlman. And that's just because like I've been everywhere with Perlman from the get-go. That dude, like he's literally, that dude's my big bro. You know what I mean? That dude's been there for the longest time. And I know he was with another agent way before me and things like that, but that dude, it's like if I was having a shit day, I could pick up the phone and call this guy. You know what I mean? And that's those guys there. And again, we know this is not like a top 5, but these are the guys that when you go there, you're like, this is going to be fucking fun. It's going to be cool. But yeah, definitely those cats for sure.
All right. Well, everybody want to give out where you can be found. Start with you, Fred, your socials or whatever.
Yeah, just I don't do my I'll do my business one, just primetime appearances, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff for sure. Primetime appearances.
Dom?
You just go to fullempirepromotions.com. There's a banner right on the front page with all the links, all the social media links.
There you go. Rick?
I don't have Twitter and Instagram, so just you can go to Facebook at Iconic Inc. Management and keep up on where I announce all new clients, and I share anytime promoters announce any clients on there. And I'll answer questions for you if you want, with stuff that's coming up.
Cool.
Sean, what about you?
If you guys are watching this channel, they already probably know my shit.
That's right.
But pretty much is
you.
at Malfunction, whatever, conventionallstars.com is the website. And anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming back on. We've gone 3.5 hours. I'm sure I'll edit this down extensively from
30 minutes.
Yeah,
30 28 minutes long.
Yeah. I'm dreading editing this one now. I'm gonna have to watch us talk this whole conversation again.
Oh Lord.
But anyway, thanks for coming out, and I appreciate all the positive feedback that you guys watching have given us. Feel free to come up to any of us at a convention if you see us, say hi, give us your input. If you have questions, let us know some stuff you want to know for the next one, and maybe we'll do this again in another year,
When the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again.
Oh, here we go. All right. All right, guys, take it easy. See you later.
My brothers.
See you later.